Well, welcome back, everyone, and welcome back, Chris.
Yes, I am back. I am back in Tennessee and back on the show, ready to kick this sucker back in gear. Good to be back.
Yeah, so we decided to do a little something special today, just because we happened to miss last week. We wanted to do a 3-hour show for you guys, since we kind of missed last week, so we can kind of push a little bit of the content from last week into this week, and keep you guys informed as much as we can, and also have two of our little favorite countdowns that we do this week.
Yes, we do.
And I hope everybody out there had a safe and wonderful Memorial Day, and
Absolutely.
Just want to say thanks to all those that sacrificed and paid the ultimate price, just so we can stay here and do what we do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
men much braver than myself. I am not ashamed to admit it.
well, men and women much braver than me. So.
True. Yes. People. Yes, that is very true. People much braver than myself. Yes. My wife included. Absolutely. So.
That's right. Yes, I did. Almost forgot about that. So.
Yeah.
So, let's see where I'm two in here. Sorry, I'm trying to.
Did we take a week off and forget how to do this?
Well, I was, actually, I think I did. It's like I'm trying to share it, and I can't remember how to freaking do it. Oh man, I'll get there in a minute. We're probably a little. Everybody's probably waiting until 10 anyway, because if they didn't catch all the warnings from last night, they probably didn't know that we were going on a little early.
Yeah, well, I did try to make sure that I told everybody on the Facebook group and on Twitter that we were doing a 3-hour show, and that we were going to be 9:30 to 12:30 today. So hopefully people did see it, and they'll, if they're not here yet, hopefully they'll be here shortly. So.
But then I did text our Joey, that since he doesn't have social media, to let him know that, hey, we're going to bore you with 3 hours today.
we got to get Joseph. We got to do that. All right. So do we want to hop right in and try to catch everybody up on the on the current events news? We're going to start off with the big one that's been kind of sitting around out there.
Well, I'm going to kick off the birthdays real quick and go through that. And
oh well, all right.
Hey, my daddy-in-law's on here. Look at that. All right, so all right, man, that's awesome. So we're going to kick off with the birthdays. This is going to be from the 23rd up until today, which is the 5th of June. So we got 2 weeks worth here. It's still not a whole lot. So I mean, it's just about a page worth.
No, it's not too bad.
Yeah, that's not too bad for me. I actually thought I was going to I said, oh man, I'm going to be doing these birthdays forever now, since I got 2 weeks worth. But not too bad. I'm sure I'm going to miss a bunch, but that's okay. May 24th, we have Albert Bouchard, singer and songwriter of Blue Oyster Cult. We have Alessandro Cortini, keyboardist, guitarist, and bass player for Nine Inch Nails. I guess he's like the co-opposite of Trent Reznor. I guess Trent Reznor does everything else, but so May 25th we have Klaus Main, vocalist for the Scorpions, Mark Knight, guitarist for Bane Tango, Adam Gontier, vocalist for 3 Days Grace and Saint Sonia, Glenn Drover, guitarist formerly with Megadeth. May 27th, we have Sean Kinney, drummer for Alice in Chains, ZP Thart, vocalist for Dragon Force and Skid Row, which I did not know he was the vocalist for Skid Row currently.
Yeah, he got hired. Cool. He got hired not too long ago.
Yeah, I think it's been fairly recent.
Yeah.
So then we got May 29th, Blaze Bailey, vocalist for Wolfsbane and, formerly of Iron Maiden. David Buckner, drummer for Papa Roach from 93 to 2007. May 30th, Tom Morello, guitarist for Audioslave and Rage Against the Machine. May 31st, we have John Bonham, drummer for Led Zeppelin, which died in 1980. Scotty Hill, guitarist for Skid Row. A lot of Skid Row birthdays. June 1st, we have Mike Protich, vocalist for Red Sun Rising. June 2nd, we have Dave Flett, guitarist for Thin Lizzy. June 3rd, one of your favorites and mine, Mr. Kerry King, guitarist, songwriter for Slayer. And this is crazy. It's like it's funny. Like you'll see the kind of a little bit of humor in this, but also on June 3rd, we have Doro Pesh, vocalist for Warlock and Doro, and she is known as the Metal Queen. So we have a king and queen on the 3rd.
Ah, nice. You can't make that shit up.
Folks. No, you can't, man. It's just like I was writing this down. I'm like, oh wow, that is just unreal. But June 4th, Paul Sampson, guitarist for Sampson. Unfortunately, he died in 2002. Paul Taylor, keyboardist for Winger. David Pybus, bassist for Cradle of Death. June 5th, we have Michael Nico McBrain, drummer for Iron Maiden. Christian Martucci, guitarist for Stone Sour. So that was the birthday list for the last 2 weeks. Wish everybody out there a happy birthday that I listed, and those that I didn't, I apologize, and hope you guys had a great birthday as well.
Yeah, you're right. That list wasn't too bad for 2 weeks.
No, it really wasn't. I was definitely expecting more from being off that long. So,
right, yeah, I definitely would have.
All right, so I guess we can kick straight into the news stories since we have a lot to cover there.
Yeah, we do. All right, well, we'll jump right in, and we'll lead off with the big one. Megadeth has officially parted ways with bassist David Ellison. This comes to us from blabbermouth.net. The band's leader, Dave Mustaine, announced Ellison's exit in a statement earlier today being Monday, May 24th. That's, how far behind we are. But anyway, he wrote, quote, "We are informing our fans that David Ellison is no longer playing with Megadeth and that we are officially parting ways with him. We do not take this decision lightly. While we do not know every detail of what occurred with an already strained relationship, what has already been revealed now is enough to make working together impossible moving forward. We look forward to seeing our fans on the road this summer, and we cannot wait to share our brand new music with the world. It is almost complete." Megadeth's split with Ellison comes 2 weeks after the leak of the bassist's messages and videos featuring a woman who was not his wife. Earlier in the month, sexually tinged messages and explicit video footage involving Ellison were posted on Twitter. The longtime Megadeth member later released a statement on Instagram denying all social media chatter that he, quote-unquote, groomed an underage fan. In his statement on May 10th, the 56-year-old Ellison wrote, quote, "As you may or may not know, some private and personal conversations and interactions have surfaced online, released with ill intention by a third party who was not authorized to have them or share them. While certainly embarrassing, I want to address it as openly and honestly as possible. As much as it's not something I'm proud of, these were private adult interactions that were taken out of context and manipulated to inflict maximum damage to my reputation, my career, and my family." He continued, "The other party involved has made a statement which you can see below. I thank her for doing so and hope that this clarifies that the situation was not at all as presented." Ellison's statement was accompanied by a screenshot of a social media post from the woman involved, who denied any suggestions that she was underage at the time. The woman also revealed she recorded the intimate moments and shared them with a friend without Ellison's permission, calling herself naive for doing so and claiming that the contact between her and the musician was quote unquote all consensual and online. She also called assumptions that she was groomed by Ellison misinformation. Yes, those video calls did happen, but I was the one to initiate it, and I was never underage. I was always a consenting adult. Nothing inappropriate ever happened before that. It was all consensual. I'm not a victim, and I have not been groomed in the slightest, as I was the one to initiate it, the woman stated. The same day, Megadeth said it was aware of the recent allegations regarding David Ellison and indicated that it was watching developments closely. The band added, as it relates to creativity and business, we are all familiar with one another. However, there are clearly aspects of David's private life that he has kept to himself. As the situation unfolds, it is important that all voices be heard clearly and respectfully. We look forward to the truth coming to light. So, with that, David Ellison is no longer the bass player for Megadeth. And I do have a follow-up story to that, also from blabbermouth.net. This relates directly to the story. Let's see. Former Megadeth bassist David Ellison says that he is pursuing revenge pornography charges against the person who leaked his private messages and videos of his interactions with a woman who was not his wife. Megadeth fired David Ellison Monday, May 24th, 2 weeks after sexually tinged messages and explicit video footage involving him were posted on Twitter. The longtime Megadeth member later released a statement on Instagram denying all social media chatter that he groomed an underage fan. Let's see. I am taking this time to be with my family. I wish my bandmates the best with their upcoming tour. Let's see what else we got here. In announcing Megadeth's decision to officially part ways with Ellison, the band's leader, Dave Mustaine, wrote, I'm sorry, already read that. That's my bad. Let's see. Got lost a little bit here on the story. Earlier today, Ellison released the following statement. Recently, a very private video was illegally posted on the internet and false allegations were made against me. The actions in the video were between two consenting adults and were recorded without my knowledge. I am working with the Scottsdale Police Department in their investigation into charges regarding revenge pornography to be filed against the person who posted this video. Also, my lawyers are preparing a defamation lawsuit to be filed against the person. This person will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. So this one could get messy before it gets cleared up. But long story short, like I said, David Ellison is no longer the bass player for Megadeth, and he's trying to pursue charges against the person who leaked all that information out there about him and his other partner there, whoever that woman turned out to be. So there we have it. That was the big news of the past couple of weeks. That was kind of the bombshell.
Hey, and I'm gonna do something like professional. Watch this. Watch me feed off of that.
Oh, segue.
As much as fans want to see it, Jason Newsted will not be the new bassist of Megadeth. As soon as Megadeth made the announcement last week that they parted ways with longtime bassist David Ellison, fans immediately jumped at the idea that Newsted should fill the spot. While Newsted doesn't have social media, his wife Nicole does, and she was clearly getting enough messages to feel the need to comment publicly. Before making it clear that Jason has no official social media accounts, she stated simply, Jason is not joining Megadeth. Peace to them. Listen to metal. It makes sense. Newsted was told in 2019 by doctors that he needed to stop headbanging to preserve his neck and spine. So I imagine touring life isn't for him anymore. Newsted and Mustaine also might not be on the best of speaking terms after Megadeth took Newsted's solo act out on an Australian tour, and then Newsted was asked to leave the tour. The promoter said Megadeth kicked them off the tour. Mustaine pushed back at the accusation, and eventually Megadeth dropped off the tour as well. Coincidentally, when Newsted left Metallica, one of the people considered for his role was David Ellison. So kind of a tie-in there. It was actually kind of crazy how that works out. And it kind of did the same thing with Rob Trujillo, whenever Metallica hired him. I think Jason actually took over his spot in Ozzy for a little bit. So
Yeah, the bass player carousel just goes around and
yeah, it just keeps on going.
It will be interesting to see who actually ends up replacing David Ellefson in Megadeth.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely going to have to be somebody somebody like pretty prominent, I would think.
Oh yeah, I would think so.
It's not going to be somebody off the street, I would imagine.
No, probably not. That doesn't really seem to be Dave's MO. But we'll keep everybody posted on that as news comes out about who the new bass player is going to be.
Yeah,
so I'm sure it's going to have to be pretty soon because I mean, like Dave said, the record's almost done. They're going to be out on tour pretty damn soon. So I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a decision that comes down relatively quickly.
Yeah, and if we need to throw out some names, I mean, we could like help them out a little bit.
True. That's very true. All right, let's see.
There are some like great metal bands that we always talk about that are not doing anything anymore. So
that is true.
We could reach out to the bassist for Lazarus AD or somebody like that.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, well, I'm gonna segue off of your segue a little bit.
Oh no, not a segue. Segue. Oh man.
Yeah. It's I'm gonna do that.
Segue Saturday.
Yeah. In keeping with the announcements, also from blabbermouth.net, Bad Wolves have welcomed singer-songwriter Daniel D.L. Laskowitz as their new lead singer. Laskowitz has carved out an impressive career for himself over the last 15 plus years, most notably as founding member and lead guitarist of metalcore band The Acacia Strain, of which he was a member from 2001 to 2013. A talented songwriter and producer, he's also worked on projects with All That Remains, Legion, For the Fallen Dreams, and collaborated with Bad Wolves on their 2019 studio album Nation, where the creative relationship with the band started. Bad Wolves are led by drummer and co-founding member John Bachlan, who has honored his commitment to the band's fans by continuing with the group when the previous singer, Tommy Vext, quit in January of 2021. Bad Wolves broke the news of Laskowitz's addition to the band via a statement on social media earlier today. Earlier today being June 2nd, 2021. Let's see what we got. The group wrote, quote, "We are excited to officially announce that Bad Wolves has a new singer, Daniel D.L. Laskowitz. DL is a tremendous songwriter and singer, and we can confidently say that the album we are working on, titled Dear Monsters, is the best Bad Wolves album to date. DL is one of the most talented and hardworking people we have ever had the pleasure to know. He is a team player, a creative force, and overall a great human being who fits perfectly with our BW family. It feels incredible to be surrounded with such positive energy, and the music we've made is certainly reflective of this newfound optimism and collaborative spirit. This new album shows a more cohesive and unique reflection of the band. There is a lot to prove, and expectations are high with a new singer coming in, and we nailed it. The songs speak for themselves, and if you're a Bad Wolves fan, we know you won't be disappointed. So much has happened since Tommy publicly quit Bad Wolves a few months ago, and we disagree with the validity of much of what he has said publicly about our parting of ways. But we prefer not to look back on the past and instead focus on this new chapter. And most importantly, we'd like to let the music speak for itself. Thanks for believing in Bad Wolves, and please join us in welcoming DL to the family. We can't wait for you to hear what's coming." So the Tommy Vext chapter of Bad Wolves is officially over, and the DL Laskowitz chapter is about to begin. So we'll see what direction that new album goes when it comes out. We'll keep you guys posted on when that's going to happen. It'll be interesting to hear.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what Tommy does as well after leaving. But I mean, Tommy's done a lot of stuff on his own before Bad Wolves, so I don't think he's going to have any issues.
No, I don't think so either.
Going back out doing Vext or anything like that. So,
yeah, I think he'll be all right.
All right. So, according to an Architectural Digest, former Guns N' Roses drummer Matt Sorum recently sold a 6-bedroom, 4-bathroom home in Los Angeles for $3 million. Set back behind hedges, the 3,966 square foot Spanish colonial duplex was built in 1929 and bears a resemblance to Chateau Marmont, located in the most prime section of LA's Beverly Grove neighborhood. This property is walking distance to the finest shops and restaurants that Melrose Avenue and Beverly Boulevard have to offer. Each unit is comprised of 3 bedrooms and generous living spaces spanning nearly 2,000 square feet. World-renowned designer Ryan Sion, I don't know how to pronounce that last name, so I apologize. The studio was tasked with redesigning the property while maintaining its architectural integrity and countless original details. There is a separate back house that has been converted into a full music studio. Other amenities include a whole house water filtration system, original fountain, vintage lighting, fireplaces, manicured garden, koi pond, security cameras, and more. Property records indicate that Sorum purchased the house in 2004 for $1.15 million. So Sorum and his wife also own a house in Palm Springs, where they have spent most of their time in recent years. That was from Blabbermouth. So I guess he wound up getting a little bit of a profit off of that. So he wound up making about $2.85 million off of that house. So
no, that's not too bad.
Not too shabby.
No, not too bad at all.
Probably more than Axel's giving him in rights to any of the music he did.
Probably a pretty safe bet. Probably pretty safe bet. Not hurting either way.
Oh no, by no means.
Yeah. All right. Well, keeping with the blabbermouth.net train rolling, I got a couple of Kiss stories that I'm gonna talk about real quick. Paul Stanley spoke to Download host Kylie Olson about the upcoming Kiss biopic Shouted Out Loud. The film, which recently landed at Netflix, will be directed by Joachim Ronning, the Norwegian filmmaker whose credits include Kon-Tiki, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, and Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. The script is written by Ole Saunders. It is definitely happening, Paul stated about the biopic, as transcribed by blabbermouth.net, and that's going to be really interesting. The script was really good, and we really waited until we felt comfortable. Look, you get one chance to do it, and I would rather not do it than do it half-assed or poorly, he explained. Our director is the real deal. He did Maleficent 2, and he's not some hack. He knows how to make movies. It should be great. Casting hasn't begun yet, but that will be interesting too, end quote. Asked which actor he would like to play him in the movie, Stanley said, quote, and I will tell you this, for casting to be accurate in terms of age, we are looking at actors in their early 20s. Honestly, I don't know a whole lot of actors in their early 20s. When people get asked these kinds of questions, they'll say, oh, Brad Pitt, or this one or that one. Well, those guys are in their 50s or 60s, so you're talking about another generation of actors. And I'm the first to say I'm not up on a lot of them, but as the casting process goes on, I'll certainly be there and watching. It'll be interesting to see how someone else, be it the casting people or the director, how they view who I am and who they see doing that. I think I'll learn a lot about their perception of me by who they cast, end quote. Shouted Out Loud will have close cooperation from bandleaders Stanley and Gene Simmons. Will be a co-production of Mark Canton's Atmosphere Entertainment and Universal Music Group. The film will be produced by Canton through his Atmosphere Entertainment, Leanne Burton through Opus 7, Courtney Solomon, David Blackman, and Jody Gerson through Universal Music Group, Kiss's longtime manager Doc McGee through his McGee Entertainment, Ronning and Simmons and Stanley. Atmosphere's Dorothy Canton and David Hopwood are the executive producers. That sounds like a mess they got going on. A lot of cooks in the kitchen. More than a year ago, Kiss guitarist Tommy Thayer said that the band was also working on a definitive documentary which will include rare and compelling Kiss-related media submitted by the group's fans. Kiss launched its farewell trek in January of 2019, but was forced to put it on hold last year to the COVID-19 pandemic. End of the Road was originally scheduled to conclude on July 17th, 2021 in New York City, but now is expected to last well into 2022. So we do have another Netflix movie coming out, talking about Kiss. And like I say, speaking of Kiss, I'm gonna jump off of that one and lead to this one, and also from blabbermouth.net. Former Kiss guitarist Vinnie Vincent spoke to The Rock Experience with Mike Brune about his plans to finally release some of his previously unheard music that was recorded over the course of the last 3 decades. He said, as transcribed by blabbermouth.net, quote, this is my crowning moment of joy that I've been waiting for many, many, many years just to be able to say to everybody in truth and reality, but we are finally mixing the 2-inch masters that I finally have control over, my 2-inch tape masters of all my songs, and we're going to be releasing new Vinnie Vincent music on vinyl. Within the next 12 to 18 months, it's all finally going to be released, and the artwork is great. We're finished with almost all of the artwork, and yes, the Guitarmageddon album is in the process of being mixed right now. We just finished mixing the new Euphoria tracks that no one's ever heard, and it's pretty phenomenal. He continues, I would have to say in all good conscience and honesty that I'm very impressed with what I'm hearing, and I'm blown away. And I'm finally able to say it's a new era of Vinnie Vincent music being released this next 12 to 18 months. And I'm so proud to be able to say that. And as things start to open up and there are tours again, you can bet that I'll be out there. Euphoria was Vinnie's 1996 EP released on Vincent's own Metaluna album. The purpose of the EP was to preview material for an album called Guitarmageddon, which has yet to materialize. Vincent, who was a member of KISS when the band publicly quote-unquote unmasked in 1983, made several public appearances in 2018 after spending the past 2 decades out of the public eye. In 1983, KISS wrote and released Lick It Up, their first album without makeup, a recording on which Vincent co-wrote 8 of 10 songs, including the title track, which remains a staple of the group's live performances to this day. Despite the album's success, Vincent was fired by KISS after the Lick It Up touring cycle came to an end, allegedly due to a dispute over both the terms of his employment contract with the band and royalties. From there, Vincent founded Vinnie Vincent Invasion, which recorded 2 albums. In 1992, Vincent reteamed with Simmons and Stanley to write 3 songs for their acclaimed album Revenge, including the record's first 2 singles Unholy and I Just Wanna. Their relationship quickly soured once again, however. 4 years later, Vincent released a solo EP, the aforementioned Euphoria, which featured vocals by former VVI singer Fleischman and included material from sessions recorded around 1990. Soon after that, Vincent vanished from the public eye and remained off the grid for more than 2 decades. In November 2019, KISS manager Doc McGee claimed that all former members of the group have been contacted about possibly taking part in the band's last ever tour. Prior to the End of the Road launch, Paul Stanley and Gene very enthusiastic about the prospect of an onstage collaboration with Vinnie Vincent. Quote, now, Vinnie, that's one exception, and for so many reasons, I would say that's not someone who I want to celebrate, Stanley told Guitar World. Simmons also chimed in, explaining that it's worth stating that Vinnie has sued the band and lost 14 times. I'm not here to cast any aspersions. He's a talented guy. That's why he was in the band. But would I depend on him to get up on stage and do anything? Never. Can he come to shows? Of course, anybody can, but on stage, never. So, ouch. So, so needless to say, there's not a lot of good feelings between those 3 guys. So, but there's going to be some new music that Vinnie Vincent's has had floating around for a little while there. So, look forward to hearing how that turns out. Any KISS fans are out there will probably want to hear that for sure. So, keep an eye and an ear out for that.
Yeah, you bring up Vinnie Vincent, and just to show you what kind of guy he is, you know that our friends over at Decibel Geek are big KISS fans, and they cannot stand Vinnie Vincent. So, so if that tells you anything about that, so
I wonder what that's all about.
Well, they have their own stories on that, so
yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe one day we can get one of those guys on here to tell those stories, but
oh, that would be cool.
Yeah. I've been trying to get with one of them on there to come here, because I mean we've watched their shows on Friday nights a lot of times.
Right.
So we're really big supporters of each other. We just never been on like each other's shows. So
right.
one day we'll, if nothing else, we'll see them in Nashville in August probably. So.
Oh right, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. That would be cool too.
All right, so moving on.
What you got, buddy?
During an appearance on Machine Head frontman Rob Flynn's No Fucking Regrets with Rob Flynn podcast, Stone Sour guitarist Josh Rand spoke about when fans can expect to see the follow-up to the band's 2017 album Hydrograd. He said, as transcribed by blabbermouth.net, quote, there's no timetable for return, because honestly, between Corey doing his solo thing, now me working on the Life project stuff, and Roy working on Ministry, there's just no timetable. I made a comment last year and it kind of backfired because of how I said Stone Sour was on an indefinite hiatus, which, if you know the definition, actually just means it's a long period of time with no timetable of return. If I don't know if everybody thought I said infinite instead of indefinite. all of a sudden the band was like, "It's over? What?" And he was like, "Oh my God, it's over." And all I was seeing was there's no timetable. It's no different than what we've done in the past. It's just going to be a longer break. End quote. According to Rand, he and his Stone Sour band mates needed to branch out, try different stuff, and work with different people before regrouping to work on new Stone Sour music. And then whenever that time is that we can get back together, it'll actually be what is best for Stone Sour, he explained. There's no doubt about it in my mind, just having these different experiences for all of us instead of just running that same cycle. I think more so with Corey and myself, like I said, he got to do a solo record where he's doing a different style of music than anybody would have thought of, or that wouldn't have fit in with Stone Sour or Slipknot. For myself, working with somebody that's not Corey and Roy, so there's a growth that will be there that will ultimately get, which will benefit the band. I know some people might not be stoked for what's going. Oh, sorry, skip the damn line there. Well, we are out of practice. Jesus.
Yeah, we are out of practice. Yeah.
I know some people might not be stoked that it's going to be who knows when, but it needed to happen, and that's what's best for everybody involved. So, asked how he and the rest of Stone Sour made the decision to take a longer than usual break this time around, Josh said, "I think at the end of our tour cycle, we just had a good idea of what was going to happen. Where Corey wanted to do the solo record, for myself, it's something that I kicked around, just having some of the songs that I would musically write that I would never submit into a Stone Sour album because I didn't feel like it fit. So I was just kind of on that path to begin with. I just kind of got an extra nudge with him doing his solo record of, hey, this is probably the time to do this. And then we got hit with the pandemic, which then really locked me into the house. And I was like, what else am I going to do? So I started writing and working on playing the piano. I did a bunch of stuff on piano, which some of it will come out, and some of it's like, no, I'll keep it for myself. And that's basically what we did. So we had a good idea, I think, that we were going to take a longer break at the end of 19. And I think towards the end, all of us was just burnt out. Stone Sour has been off the road and out of sight since completing the touring cycle for Hydrograd. Taylor has been working with Slipknot since then, recording and touring behind that group's sixth effort, We Are Not Your Kind, as well as making his solo record, CMFT. Last August, Taylor said that he was open to doing more recording and touring with Stone Sour in the future, but he admitted that there had been some contention here and there between the members of the band in the past, and he added it was time for him to step away and pursue his solo project for a while. In June of 2020, Corey told Sirius XM's Trunk Nation with Eddie Trunk that Stone Sour is kind of on the back burner. We all kind of felt like we did exactly what we wanted to do on 2017's Hydrograd album, and we're just giving it a minute. I talked to the guys in the band about the solo thing and what I wanted to do, and they were all totally on board with it. Everybody else has kind of got their own things going on as well, so they're all cool with it. So yeah, I think Stone Sour is kind of on a hiatus right now, which is fine. If someday we want to get back together and do some stuff, it'll be bigger than it was. But for right now, we're all kind of focused on kind of doing our own thing. But you never say never in this business. So Stone Sour fans out there, you may have to wait a little bit longer for anything new for those guys. Like I said, we do know that Slipknot's working on new stuff as we speak. Right. So you can definitely expect a couple of more years before you hear anything from Stone Sour.
More than likely, yeah. But just go out and listen to Slipknot.
Right, yeah. I mean, Hydrograd was a great album, though. I really
it was.
It was probably one of their best. But.
It really was. It was good. And, we have our own opinions about Corey Taylor's solo album, but, there's also that you could listen to if you want to. But
yeah, well, I mean, if you're into that. But.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've got our own opinions about that. So, all right. Moving over to metalsucks.net. Metallica's All Within My Hands charity foundation has been very generous since its launch a few years back, donating proceeds from Metallica concerts, auctions, and other fundraisers to causes benefiting wildfire relief, COVID-19 frontline workers, and more. Education has been one of their main focuses, with the Metallica Scholars Initiative centered around community colleges in particular. Now, the Metallica Scholars Initiative will expand its nationwide program from 15 community colleges to 23, with plans to donate $1.6 million this year. The expansion comes as the initiative outpaced expectations, seeing both the colleges and their students benefit measurably from the donations. The press release reads, final reports from all 15 schools in 2020 proved that, even with the obvious complications presented in a pandemic, each school selected for the Metallica Scholars Grant successfully modified programming to provide students with industry-relevant applied learning programs based on local demands. Funding served over 1,000 students at community colleges across the U.S. in career and technical training programs last year, and outcomes exceeded expectations. From Central Piedmont Community College in Charlotte, 97.6% of the Metallica scholars scheduled to graduate in the spring or summer of 2020 semesters were successful. Students across 10 different academic health programs were supported by Metallica Scholars Funds. Certification exam pass rates and employment rates of those who were eligible exceeded 90%. While rates of achievement are certainly proof that the Metallica Scholars Initiative is accomplishing its goals, the foundation finds inspiration from personal anecdotes shared by the students themselves. Emma Lynn Pons, a welding scholar from Valencia College, articulates how her training goes beyond establishing a career path when she says, the whole reason I'm doing this is because I want to be the first in my family to break the cycle of poverty. You can donate or become involved with Metallica's All Within My Hands Foundation there's a link. I'm going to click on the link at allwithinmyhands.org. So Metallica, being the benevolent band that they are, donating more money to help college students across the country. So that's another good thing for them to be doing. It's good to hear.
But we're going to see people comment just like we have before with Metallica doing stuff like that. Is, oh, they're worth $300 million. Why aren't they doing more? Well, you need to go back and look at all they do, because they just don't have their hand in one charity. I mean, they do a lot of different charity work, and that's what I hate about a lot of people that want to bash a band for doing that kind of thing. Is they're probably not doing anything at all to help anything out. So I don't know why they're going to bash someone else, but.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's just humanity, unfortunately. But
yeah, exactly.
Somebody said Metallica benevolent. First time they've heard them described as that.
Well, I guess there's a first time for everything. I mean, their charity's been around for quite a while, so.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely been like I've posted stuff from the past, a couple of years that we've done the page on Facebook that we posted stuff, and we've gotten kickback from people commenting saying, oh, well, it's awful nice of them 300 million, to dig into that 300 million to donate. I'm just like, yeah, but you don't know everything they donate.
This definitely isn't the first story that we've talked about where they've donated money. So,
right. Yeah, well, like I said, if you got it, of course, most people that have money like that are using it for tax write-offs anyway. But it still goes to a good,
goes to a good cause. Yeah, and yeah. I mean, and yeah, of course, Zompal, charities are a loose term, and that's very true. But and like Jason, you just said, all these donations are tax deductible, and that's also very true. But like I just said in the story, there are people at these colleges that have benefited directly from the donations. So I mean, it's there's obviously some good that has come out of it. So
right.
All
right. So here's something I was excited to read, and actually I want to go and check this out. But former Sepultura members, Igor Cavallero on drums, Max Cavallero guitar and vocals, and Jairo Gudez on guitar. I can never pronounce his name. Reunited virtually to record a new version of the band's classic song "Antichrist," which originally appeared on the 1985 EP "Bestial Devastation." The resulting clip was uploaded to YouTube as part of Igor's recently launched a new video series, Beneath the Drums, where he dissects some of his best known songs from the recording history. Speaking about Antichrist, Igor said, as transcribed by blurmouth.net, Antichrist is probably one of the first tracks that I ever wrote something on the drums. And as far as I remember, he wrote, we wrote it, me and Max, in our bedroom. And we were very influenced by a lot of really cool bands back in 84 and 85. And those bands were like Venom and Hellhammer. And then some German bands later on, like Creator and Destruction. So Antichrist, it was one of those tunes where we had an idea of what we wanted to do and was very influenced by black and death metal. Just seeing that little taste of a reunion there is kind of gave me a little... got me a little giddy. But yeah, I definitely want to go check that out, because like I did see something else about where they were talking about they didn't have the technology and stuff of today back then, of course. So to hear that in a different style, I guess, with a little more like percussion and whatnot. So it'd be pretty cool to hear that.
Yeah, so hopefully it's more than just a tease, kind of getting together just for like one of these one-offs or something like that, and then nothing comes of it. Like you say, you saw that and you got a little giddy, but hopefully it's not something other than just getting together and fucking around with one song.
They're not getting back together with. I mean, not those guys anyway. I mean, of course, Sepultura is doing just fine with Derek Green, and so I think they're doing just fine and on their own. So. Especially, with Max and Igor having a couple of different projects going on as well. So,
oh yeah.
So I don't think Max would have time for Sepultura anymore.
Yeah, there's only enough hours in the day, and I think Max has got enough shit going on right now as it is. But
I mean, he's almost at the point where I think he's been cloned anyway. So,
oh, that's true. That's true. I mean, it's a possibility.
Well, I mean, just think of the stuff that's came out in the last, we've talked about in the last 6 months that he's been a part of. It's just like unreal that he's got that.
Yeah, right. He's done, Yeah, and what's I can't remember what's the name of the project he's got going on with his son right now.
Shit,
I'm completely drawing a blank.
Yeah,
I know
they did Kill or Be Killed, and then I can't remember the one he's got going on now, But I mean,
you know the one I'm talking about. But yeah.
Yeah. But you got me.
So yeah, Max Cavalera is a busy man. He's a very busy man. Definitely no rest for the weary there. All right, over at the PRP.com, late Motorhead vocalist bassist Ian Lemmy Kilmeister will soon be getting another action figure in Super 7's Reaction Figures line. This new figure will find him in a more traditional stage regalia and comes with a miniature version of his Murder 1 amp, his bass guitar, and more. You can set your eyes on it below, while Super7.com will have it for sale next week. If you haven't seen it, you can find Lemmy's previously released action figure here, and here being a February 10th, 2021 story, also from the PRP.com. So if you want to see the previously released action figure of Lemmy, you can do that, and you can also find a picture. Oh, here, let me see what we got going on here. Let's see. There is the new action figure right there. There's the new action figure. Yep, there's the new one. Yeah, so there's the new one. That's going to be coming out pretty soon, and I'll go ahead and let's see. Here is, oh shit, hang on. And here is the first one that they were talking about. So there's the first one. Let me get it in camera here. Hang on. There's the first one.
I think I'm digging the second one a little better.
Oh, the second one, I would definitely say that the second one is actually like I say, vintage Lemmy. So so those will be pretty cool if you're a collector of the action figures. That may be something to pick up. So that's going to be coming out. I think that's going to be available for sale. I think the story said next week, so you can check that out.
Awesome. All right. So for all of my festival people out there, there's a brand new rock festival vacation experience, Varago's Destination Lunazia Beach. They have announced an incredible lineup for its inaugural event, set to take sail in early 2022. Rob Zombie, Chevelle, and Mastodon lead the headlining talent for the immersive Private Island Festival and 5-day rock cruise taking place February 16th through the 21st in 2022. Departing from Miami, an intimate group of 2,500 passionate music fans will be able to enjoy a daily artist-hosted activities and nightly entertainment while traveling aboard the amenity-packed Norwegian Pearl ship. The land destination includes one full day and night at the resort-like private island in Harvest Cave, Belize, where attendees will enjoy a one-of-a-kind beach festival, Lunazia Beach, on February 18th. The Lunazia Beach Festival on the 18th, available exclusively to cruise guests. No separate ticket will be sold to the public. Will include exclusive headlining sets by Rob Zombie and Chevelle, along with performances by Blackstone Cherry, New Year's Day, Tetrarch, and Amigo the Devil. Bands performing on the Norwegian Pearl during the sea days, 16th, 17th, 19th, and 20th, are Mastodon, Blackstone Cherry, Tremonte, Saint Sonia, Escape to Fate, New Year's Day, Fire from the Gods, Bad Omens, Jarris Johnson, Tetrarch, Dead, All Good Things, Joyous Wolf, and Plush. Additionally, the ship will be home to the Varago storytelling stage featuring intimate performances from Amigo the Devil, Kevin Martin of Candlebox, Brett Scallions, Pervant, Fuel, and Austin Mead, as well as the Varago's comedy stage with multiple sets from Jim Brewer, Big J Okerson, Rachel Feinstein, and Shane Smith. Each night on board the Norwegian Pearl will also offer a midnight party starring Brass Against, the Varago's Shut Up and Dance, and more. Varago's will be the ultimate vacation of every rocker's dream, with more than 45 performances across 5 total stages, both on board and on the beach. Most bands will be playing multiple sets throughout the 5-day excursion, as well as participating in additional activities. Pre-sale cabins are on sale today at www.varagos.com, with pricing starting at just $8.98 per person for a 4-guest interior room, plus taxes and fees, of course. Guests are able to make a deposit and pay the remaining balance in the monthly installments over time leading up to the event. Cabins go on sale to the public Friday, June 4th at noon, which was yesterday. Fans also have the chance to win a cabin for 2 on Varago's Destination Lunazia Beach, plus airfare by tuning in to the brand new DW Presents channel on Twitch June 3rd, where a winner will be announced live. Fans can enter to win there by following the steps before midnight and then tuning into the DW Presents channel, which I guess is over now since this is the 5th, but sorry. Varago's Destination Lunazia Beach is a creative partnership of Danny Wimmer Presents and Sixth Man, merging the expertise of the best in rock festivals on land and the leaders of rock at sea. Like each company's signature events, Varago's merges the signature world-class talent and unrivaled immersive festival experiences that each has become respected for throughout their decades in the business. Although we've always been intrigued by an idea of a rock cruise, there are others in the space that already do it really well, says Danny Hayes, CEO of Danny Wimmer Presents. For DWP to do a cruise, we had to have something that would make our voyage uniquely ours, and the opportunity to work with Sixth Man and at a festival on a private island in Belize gave us the twist we were looking for and the comfort of working with a best-in-class partner like the Sixth Man team. When where else will you ever have the chance? Or sorry, it is when else. When else will you ever have the chance to see Rob Zombie and Chevelle on a private island with 3,000 of your closest friends? This is exactly a once in a lifetime of experience that DWP likes to create for our amazing fans. Um, Anthony Diaz, CEO of Six Man, also adds that today's announcement of the high octane lineup and highly immersive vacation experience showcases the commitment of Danny Wimmer Presents and Six Man to curate the ultimate vacation for rock fans that include days and nights of music and more at sea, plus a full festival day on a decked out private island. The inaugural Voragos event will be truly a mind blowing festival next February and for years to come. The luxurious Norwegian Pearl will serve as the floating venue for this rock adventure. Guests will be able to enjoy Norwegian cruise lines' signature freedom and flexibility to enjoy 11 onboard bars and lounges, 15 dining experiences, a casino, one outdoor pool, hot tubs, and a full menu of spa treatments. Harvest Caye in southern Belize is the Caribbean's premier private island destination featuring an expansive pool with a swim up bar, saltwater lagoon for water sports, exclusive 7-acre beach, and exciting shore excursions ranging from zip lining across the island to snorkeling the world's largest barrier reef. So there's a lot of activities you can do on there besides rocking out, but that's the main reason everybody's going, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah, that'd be the main reason I would be going.
And it's almost come to the point where you're going to have to pick a cruise in February, because I know I think the Jericho cruise is usually around January or February. So,
well, what is the isn't that that Shiprocked? That's going to be next year too. When is that? Is that the beginning of the year?
I think so. I think that's also February. Actually, no, Shiprocked is January 22nd to January 27th.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's from Galveston, Texas to Cozumel. So it depends on where you want to go and who you want to see, I guess. But I know Shiprocked has a pretty good lineup as well. I believe that's the one that Non-Point and Body Count just got added to.
Yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's and then I don't know if Jericho is still doing his cruises or not. I actually want to look that up because
I thought he was. The cool thing is
they don't have anything. They don't have anything. They had okay. He's doing his in October
of this year.
Looks like it. Yeah, October 21st to the 25th. His is the Rockin' Wrestling Rager. That's right.
Rocking Wrestling Rager. Okay.
Yeah, because he does wrestling shows and musical performances and comedy acts and everything on that one. Which is why I would want to go, because it's a mix up of everything. But
right. Yeah. It's funny that you talk about that cruise and we're talking about all this other stuff, because things are actually starting to pick up as far as tours go. Slipknot recently announced that they're going to be, they got the Knotfest Road show with them and Killswitch Engage, Fever 333 and Code Orange. So I mean that's just, there's a bunch of them that have been advertised. Obviously, you've got what is it, the Blue Ridge Rock Festival that you guys are going to try to go to, but
yeah.
there's obviously all the festivals that are coming out, but there's also a bunch of tours that are starting to be announced. I'm looking at Blabbermouth right now, and there's actually another cruise that's going to be May 2nd through the 7th of 2022. Is called Cruise to the Edge. It's progressive rock's largest festival at sea. That's going to have Marillion, Alan Parsons, Transatlantic, and Al Di Meola as headliners. I don't really know a lot of those bands. I'm not really super duper into progressive rock, but there's another one. But there's a shitload of them. Let's see. You talk about the Voragos Destination, Lunacy. There's that one. There's just a bunch of them. Soulfly announces a 2021 Summer U.S. tour. Joining Soulfly on select dates will be Nivian and Suicide Puppets. So there's one. But I mean, there's just a ton of them that are coming out. So I mean, we're gonna have to start keeping track of some of these, because they're gonna start coming out, fast and furious. The Lollapalooza 21 lineup. Atreyu announces a fall 2021 U.S. tour with Crown the Empire, Tetrarch, Saul, and Defying Decay. Clutch expands their 30 Years of Rock and Roll tour, which I don't really give a crap about Clutch, to be honest with you. That's just my opinion. But I mean, they're coming at, they're going out on tour. So I mean, these tours and these festivals, man, they're coming, and they're coming fast, which is a good thing, because it's Three Doors Down announces the Better Life 20th anniversary tour. Queen legend Roger Taylor announces a UK. Well, it's the UK tour, but I mean, even he's going out on tour. Foo Fighters announced first US dates of the 26th anniversary tour. It's Guns N' Roses announces 2021 US tour with Mammoth WVH. So I mean, it's literally just like, and Jason, you and I talked about this before, but we talked about it as far as like just the new albums. We were talking about how it's going to be like a kinked garden hose, and someone's going to let it go, and we're going to get nothing but all these new albums all at once. Well, it's starting to happen with music tours right now. Hopefully the new albums are not too far behind.
Right. And also seen they have a let's see, I don't know if this one's still going on, but they had a Mediterranean metal cruise. It says 2022 Monsters of Rock cruise was announced, and back last month with Skid Row on that. So I mean, that's in February of next year as well. There's just a boatload. I know, like the early stuff. Danny Wimmer usually puts on in May and June and stuff, like July. I think May and July. I think those may have gotten canceled, but everything in the fall is still a go. So
yeah,
that's always good. So.
But yeah, I mean, it's picking back up. I mean, there's going to be no shortage of festivals, cruises, and just regular old fashioned concert tours. So I mean, there will be basically the pick of the litter as far as what music and what bands you guys want to go see, especially like you talked about the one in Virginia that you guys are going to. It's almost going to be a who's who of rock and heavy metal at that Blue Ridge Festival. The list of who's not going to be there, I think, is actually going to be shorter at some point.
Shorter, yeah. I think
they're still adding bands to that lineup, aren't they?
I think they said it was next Friday was going to be the full lineup announced. So next Friday,
there's still one more week.
Yeah, we'll know everybody involved. So which is like when I plan on buying my tickets next Friday. So hopefully I can still buy them after they announce all this stuff. But
that's a good point.
Yeah, they're already about 65% sold out. So
I figured it would have been higher by now.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, you haven't announced everybody, and plus it's real close to the Louder Than Life festival. So I think a lot of people are forging over that extra money to see Metallica in two different sets.
True.
Also we have Metal in the Mountains in West Virginia, which is August 26th through the 29th.
I guarantee you there's going to be tours that we're going to miss, as far as even making the announcements.
Because I mean, probably Gojira's announced their tour, and I mean you have I know just here locally we were talking about going to Seven Dust and what was it, Slipknot and Killswitch, and a couple hours away that we were talking about road tripping to. So I mean there's a lot of stuff going on. Man, it's just like, I kind of like hate that things happen the way they did, because now I don't have the money to go to everything I want to go to.
Exactly.
I gotta pick and choose. I mean, I don't like choosing.
Yeah, there's not going to be any pacing yourself and just getting in a steady rhythm of going to concerts. It's going to be like, all right, everything's happening at once. You have to pick.
Well, I mean, it's
what you're gonna pick, the ones you're gonna make, and pick the ones you're gonna miss, because there's just gonna be so much.
Yeah, I mean, it was like whenever the pandemic hit, we were, we had already had tickets to 3 different shows already. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, and then we was already planning on buying two more, uh, two more shows. Was planning on buying tickets to two more shows at that time too. So we were already looking at 5 shows, before September. So
Yeah.
and then we usually, like I said, me and the wife usually pick a festival to go to, and we usually try to go to a different one, just to check out different ones.
Yeah.
So we, one year we did the one year we did the Louder Than Life and Sonic Temple because we had the free tickets from the flood the year before. So that was pretty cool.
Well, you guys are definitely looking at picking probably the best one, in this country this year.
Oh, yeah.
Because some of the festivals over in Europe would probably be a little better, or at least give it a run for its money. But I think that Blue Ridge Festival, I think that's going to be the best one in the United States this year, hands down.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, they say they do it for the fans, so I mean, from the looks
It
of
sure as hell sounds like
yeah.
they're going to be with that lineup that they've got put together so far.
All right.
Even though you've got some people who have been talking shit about some of the bands as not being headliners. So, I mean,
well, I mean,
of course, everyone is entitled to their opinions, even though some people's opinions are just flat out wrong or misinformed. But
well, I mean, there's headliners all in that lineup. I mean, if you really wanted to go out and say, hey, these are the headliners, I mean, but you got to go out and you got to think, okay, who is going to be my headliners that's going to be able to make the time slot for being headliners for one. Because I mean, if you, just say you have Anthrax on the show, but they can't headline because they have to be somewhere else the next night. It's set up the next day somewhere, 5,000 miles away. Well, of course they can't headline because they have to leave straight out from the show out probably and go get set up for their next gig. So I mean,
right, but at the same time, don't talk shit and say that Anthrax isn't a headlining band
exactly.
or Testament. So I mean, don't
both
do that.
Those bands are headliners. I mean,
yeah, and so I mean,
you got those bands that have done this stuff, for 40 years. I mean, they're definitely headliners. I mean, they got enough material to go, probably 3-hour sets, just like when we watch Machine Head. But
right, yeah. And Zom, you're right. Not everyone can be a headliner,
right.
just because of time constraints, just like Jason said. But if you look at the bill that's been announced just for that Blue Ridge Festival in Virginia, just for that one, there, like Jason said, there are bands that have been announced already up and down that lineup who could be headliners, who aren't going to be, but could be, and have been plenty of times.
Yeah, and you got to look at it too in a way that they're having to put people in a headlining position that's going to be that's been relevant, and to the younger generation as well as the older generation. So
well, yeah, absolutely.
Just like Papa Roach is one of the headliners there, which we're not crazy about, but I mean,
right.
To their defense, they're right in that category to where they're still playing, putting out new music that's mainstream media. Or mainstream rock, so people are, younger generations are still hearing that in their 20s, as well as people in their 40s, so you got a 20, and that's pretty much about the age frame that go to these festivals is, 20 to 40-year-old people. So,
yeah.
So, yeah.
And they're trying, and they also, they're trying to to spread out they're trying to spread everything out across the entire bill for the entire length of the festival too. So, I mean, I get that too. You don't want to have like the very first day be nothing but bands that no one's really heard of. Cause then, no one's really going to show up for that day. So, so yeah, you gotta keep it, you gotta keep the big name bands, kind of sprinkled in along with the, the up and comers. So, I mean, I get that too, but the people, but my whole thing is the people talking, and like I'm gonna bring up Disturbed because that was, I think, the one band that was like, getting that people were talking shit about the most. Whatever your opinion is of Disturbed, obviously you're entitled to it. But look, Disturbed has sold I don't know how many million albums around the world. I've seen Disturbed in concert 4 times in 3 different cities, and they have delivered every time I've seen them. So, and so I may be a little biased because I am a Disturbed fan, but I mean, they've got the longevity, they've got the popularity, they've got the album sales. I mean, they've got all of the criteria to call themselves a headliner that you would expect. So people going online talking about Disturbed isn't a headliner, they're just full of shit as far as I'm concerned. So
right. And I agree.
They're not going to be headlining on this tour. But and like I say, seeing the bill that I've seen so far, I can understand why they're not a headliner on this tour. But to sit there on the internet and say Disturbed's not a headliner, okay, fine. If that's your opinion, fine. But in my opinion, you're flat out wrong. So,
well, I mean, and too, there's another band that we can give or take, or take it or give it away. It's Shinedown. I mean, Shinedown's one of the headliners on that bill as well. But you can't like knock what they've done. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not a Shinedown fan. I don't really care for them, but you have. But if you look at it objectively, then yeah, the case can absolutely be made that they should be a headlining band. And even not being a fan personally, I can still look at their career and I can look at the numbers and be like, all right, there you go. They deserve to be a headliner. I'm not some blind hater,
right?
Well, who just wants to be a dick about it.
And then while we're on this subject, is whenever they announced Five Finger Death Punch as a headliner, they got grief for that. Just like well, you need to swap them out with Anthrax, or I'm just like, well, no, Five Finger Death Punch is a headliner, dude. I mean, they've been around for 20 some odd years. I mean.
Yeah,
I just don't get that. I just don't get the hate. I mean, you got to understand, like like they said, everybody can't be a headliner, and then two, right. You can't. You can't. I get some feedback somewhere. You can't. You got to put those people in the place for their next gig. So and a lot of people don't understand that. It's like, this is not the only thing they're doing this weekend. It's the festival. Yeah. So all right, after that rant.
Thankfully we got 3 hours because that went a little long.
yeah. I really thought, and we probably will like circle back, no pun intended.
No, not circle back. Oh shit. Right.
We'll probably wind up going back to the Ellison story at some point, I'm sure, but because I really thought that was going to take up a lot of time when we start getting into that. But
oh well, I mean, there's going to be. I guarantee you there will be more to come with that because he's got that. He's got the lawsuit filed against the person who leaked all the videos. So even though that. Talking about the David Ellison story, which we led off with, didn't take as long as, you and I had thought. There's going to be more to it. So yeah, we definitely will be talking about that again at some point. I'm definitely going to keep my ears open for that because I want to, it's going to be interesting to hear what comes of that. And also, who takes his place in Megadeth and all that good stuff. Right. So, so yeah, that's definitely not going away anytime soon. So.
All right,
so let's see. All right. Yeah, I've still got I've got a couple more. I don't know how many more you've got, but I've got a couple more.
Yeah, I still got a couple more.
This over from this at loudwire.com. Motley Crue fans should feel grateful that the band's stadium tour with Def Leppard has been postponed until 2022. Over the holiday weekend, Crue singer Vince Neil performed his first solo gig since the COVID-19 pandemic began. It did not go well. Vince Neil became a meme after Motley Crue's performance from Rock in Rio 2015 went viral due to Neil's especially poor vocals. Footage from recent Vince Neil solo shows also made the rounds online, which see the singer delivering more phoned-in vocal performances. In late 2019, Motley Crue manager Alan Kovac seemed to hint that Neil was working with a trainer to get in shape for Crue's stadium run, but a bizarre cameo video filmed by Neil didn't leave fans feeling hopeful. Vince Neil and his solo band headlined the Boone River Valley Festival in Iowa over the weekend. See, there was another festival that happened.
Right.
Jamming a set of mostly Motley Crue classics, Neil's band opened with Looks That Kill before jumping into Dr. Feelgood, and though Vince's vocals on Dr. Feelgood didn't stink to Rock in Rio 2015 lows, the performance wasn't the crew's singer's strongest. The wheels began to fall off when Neil launched into a cover of the Beatles' Helter Skelter. Vince seemed to forget the words to the Beatles classic while struggling to keep up with his band's down-tuned instrumentals. I was there, front row, seen Vince 8 times, worst performance ever. He was reading the lyrics that his roadie taped on the floor while Vince left for a well-needed break. One fan wrote in the YouTube comments section, "No way could he do a stadium tour." Finally, 14 songs into the solo set, Vince Neil gave up while singing Girls, Girls, Girls. His voice completely shot. Neil walked off stage mid-song after addressing the festival crowd. "Hey guys, I'm sorry, you guys. It's been a long time playing. My fucking voice is gone. We love you, and we hope to see you next time, man. Thank you." Neil's band awkwardly continued to perform after Neil left the stage, doing backing vocals to a non-existent chorus. Let's see. Motley Crue and Def Leppard's co-headlining stadium tour, which will also feature Poison and Joan Jett, has been rescheduled for summer 2022. So, and in this story, like I said, it's over at loudwire.com. There are some video clips inset in the story to where you can kind of, I guess, experience the the debacle of Vince Neil not being able to sing. So I haven't checked those out yet, but I might. It looks like there's actually 3 different videos. There is one of him singing Dr. Feelgood. There is one of him singing the aforementioned Helter Skelter. And it looks like there is the video of him singing Girls, 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 where he just says, "Screw it, I'm out," and just walks off stage. So,
he forgot how many girls was in the lyrics. So.
Yeah, so I'm gonna probably leave this story pulled up on my phone so I can check those out. And if I do check those out, I'll share them over at the Metalheads Unite Facebook page to let everybody experience the what do you call it? I guess that would be kind of like a Vince Neil sideshow. So we'll kind of post those later on today so everyone can kind of check that out. But you got to feel for poor Vince, I guess.
Wedding singer gone bad. So.
All right, what else you got, Jason?
So there was over 150 albums listed on the most streamed albums in hard rock and heavy metal and punk on Spotify. But I've narrowed this down to the top 30. Well, I didn't. Actually, Metal Sucks did. But I mean, these are actually in order. So from 1 to 30. So on top was Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory with 2.67 billion streams, which is kind of unreal. Nirvana's Nevermind was at 2 with 2.62 billion. Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction with 2.4 billion. Red Hot Chili Peppers' Californication with 2.2 billion. Queen, A Night at the Opera is 2.1 billion. Linkin Park's Meteora at 2.08 billion. Metallica at 2.04 billion. Panic at the Disco, Pray for the Wicked at 1.9 billion. AC/DC's Back in Black, 1.88 billion. Panic at the Disco, Death of a Bachelor, 1.81 billion. System of a Down's Toxicity at 1.76 billion. My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade at 1.75 billion. Fall Out Boy, A American Beauty, American Psycho, 1.71 billion. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Stadium Arcadium, 1.71 billion. Pink Floyd's The Wall at 1.69 billion. Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet at 1.61 billion. Queen's The Game at 1.52 billion. Green Day's American Idiot at 1.48 billion. Queen Jazz at 1.43 billion. Red Hot Chili Peppers By the Way at 1.37 billion. Blink 182 Enema of the State at 1.34 billion. Journey's Escape at 1.29 billion. Red Hot Chili Peppers Blood Sugar Sex Magic at 1.29 billion. Linkin Park Minutes to Midnight at 1.25 billion. Queen News of the World 1.25 billion. Fall Out Boy Save Rock and Roll at 1.23 billion. Green Day's Dookie at 1.21 billion. Pink Floyd, The Dark Side of the Moon at 1.19 billion. Led Zeppelin 4 at 1.18 billion. Pearl Jam 10 at 1.18 billion. So that is the top 30 hard rock, heavy metal, and punk streams on Spotify.
There are some interesting names in there, actually.
Yeah. So it's just amazing how many bands have over 1 billion streams of an album. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's good to see Journey in there too still.
Yeah. So I mean, there's still some people rocking out to Journey.
Yeah. Well, Journey told everybody to don't stop believing. There's some people who still believe in Journey. So. Which I still do. I still like listening to Journey. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like it's a big song at a lot of stadiums and stuff, especially in between. Like I don't know how many people, or if it's just in Nashville, but I know in Nashville, when in between shows, you always hear like the "Don't Stop Believing" or something. Or actually, I think it is the main song they usually play in between when bands are setting up the stage after a set for the next band.
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, you still hear it.
Actually, I heard it at a Preds game too, which was crazy.
Now, if you heard it at a hockey game, there's a possibility that they may have been behind at the time. So
probably.
Well, seriously, I mean, not trying to talk shit about the Predators, even though I'm not a fan of theirs, but I mean, it would, if they're losing and they play that song, it's like, hey, don't give up. So I mean, it just in keeping with the theme, I wasn't trying to talk shit, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's cool that because there's I've been to tons of hockey games in my life, obviously, and being a hockey fan and a heavy metal fan, it's cool because a lot of hockey games I've been to, those two mix well at an arena. I've heard so much heavy metal at hockey games, Pantera and Marilyn Manson and stuff like that. So, and then like the Dallas Stars, because Pantera being from Texas, they actually wrote an all original song, especially for the Dallas Stars, that gets played every time the Dallas Stars score a goal at home. So I can't exactly remember how it goes, but I do know that Pantera wrote a Dallas Stars exclusive song that gets played at Dallas's home arena whenever they score a goal. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I've got one more story over still at loudwire.com. Germany's annual Wacken Open Air, like some other international heavy metal festivals, is having a tough time finding the figurative ground to mount a comeback amid the pandemic. Wacken Open Air 2021, which until Tuesday, June 1st, was still scheduled to take place this summer, has now been postponed until August of 2022. Also, like other yearly events that have been waiting out the health crisis, that means Wacken Open Air will have taken a full 2 years off when the music finally returns. Wacken 2020 was understandably postponed to this year when the COVID-19 pandemic first began. Now it's been pushed back 12 months yet again. It's with a heavy heart that we have decided that Wacken Open Air cannot take place at the end of July this year. The festival revealed this week in a statement on its website. We therefore postpone the festival. The message continued, this decision was anything but easy for us, also because we know that you are already in the middle of the preparations and planning, like we are too. For Wacken Open Air, however, the planned openings unfortunately will not arrive in time, and as always, the safety and health of everyone involved in the festival, fans, crew, artists, and all the residents of Wacken and the region, has absolute priority. But at the same time, we are sure of one thing. We will all make the holy ground shake again and enjoy our common passion together. Wacken Open Air 2022 is scheduled for August 4th and 5th, 2022, set to take place at the event's usual stomping grounds in Wacken, Germany. A lineup for the rescheduled event has yet to be announced. Bands such as Slipknot, Judas Priest, and Amon Amarth were originally scheduled for the 2020 festival. Details about 2022 tickets and exchanges are coming soon. For Wacken fans still looking for something to do in 2021, however, the festival revealed that, much like the previously announced Download pilot, it's currently working with the authorities to explore an idea for a new event in September 2021 to help with the restart of live music. Keep your fingers crossed for both of us so that the development will continue to be positive. So, and I do know, and I haven't pulled it up, and I should have since I've got this story right here. I do know that there have already been some bands announced for. Oh, here it is. Hang on, real quick. There's been some bands already announced for WAC in 2022 already. Let's see what we got going on. What do we got here? We've got Judas Priest, Limp Bizkit, As I Lay Dying, Lacuna Coil, Guar, Death Angel, Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons, Wolves in the Room, Avantasia, Glory Hammer, In Extremo, Rose Tattoo, Thunder Mother, Brothers of Metal, All Hail the Yeti, Varang Nord, Crypta, and Auden. So those are the bands. There's already 18 announced for the 2022 lineup of next year. So obviously that bill is going to get a lot bigger before it's all over. So so keep your eyes open for that. So, as much as we talked about festivals picking up and things hitting the ground running over here in the United States, obviously Europe is still having a little bit of trouble, but they're erring on the side of caution, which is good, So, everything will get back to normal. That metal festival is going to kick ass like it does every year. It's just going to take another year, unfortunately. But yeah, already 18 bands announced for next year. So we'll keep everybody updated on that as the lineup expands. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, we were talking about that, and I thought that I had a story about the little pilot download festival somewhere, but maybe I didn't. Right. Or maybe it's still deep in the pages here. All right, so here's some more of our news on our favorite thing, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. When this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees were announced, there was a pronounced backlash from rock fans for Iron Maiden once again being snubbed from being nominated into the Hall. Slipknot and Stone Sour vocalist Corey Taylor is among those in disagreement with the decision. In fact, he's no fan of the Rock Hall in general, even going as far as to say they would probably turn down an induction. Taylor told Laser 103.3 that he would likely decline any induction, saying, "First of all, I don't care about the Hall because I think it's a pile of garbage. They don't honor anything except pop music, really, and they only really induct real rock bands when they have to cave to pressure. They disrespected so many bands over the past by putting others in before the ones that actually deserve it that I would probably go the way of the Sex Pistols." He continued, "I'd be like, your Hall is a sham. I don't care if I'm part of it or not. You have no idea what the spirit of rock and roll is actually about. So take this and shove it up your you-know-what." So that's basically where I'm at. And obviously, I'm not getting any brownie points, and I probably will never be nominated, but I really don't care. The wild thing is Slipknot is only a few years away from being eligible, so artists can be nominated after 25 years after their debut release. So we'll see if Taylor is all talk or if the Hall even acknowledges Slipknot. And that was from Metal Injection, which I can tell you right now, Corey Taylor is probably not all talk. He probably is dead serious about that.
So, yeah, he probably is.
I mean, and I think that Dee Snider and all those people that we've talked about in the past would probably be in the same boat, just because I would actually. With D, though, I would actually think he would accept it, and then during his speech would bash the hell out of it while he was accepting the award. That sounds like a D. Snider thing to do. So
it totally does. Yeah, I would probably get some popcorn to watch that shit.
Exactly, which is probably why he'll never get in. But
yeah, probably not. And and we could probably touch on this subject, probably every week, because it's just so annoying. I mean, and like I don't want to get off on another rant, but it's just how do you call it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and have it supposedly to be specifically for that genre of music, and you just keep pissing on some of these bands, and then you let rappers in? I don't know.
Right?
It's just
yeah.
It just boggles my mind. I think it always will, as long as it's still called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I just don't get it.
Yeah, none of us do. So,
So it's just irritating to me.
All right, another little short story here. Anthrax will launch their 40th anniversary live stream event at midnight on July 17th. That is UK time. I don't know what time that is here, but just so you know, midnight on July 17th is UK time. You can purchase tickets for the show right now. Among the options is the opportunity to have a live video chat with members of the New York band. In addition, fans will be able to buy a digital ticket to relive the past 40 years with exclusive interviews, testimonials, and behind-the-scene anecdotes from the quintet's storied career. For full details on ticket prices and available bundles, you can visit anthraxlive.com. So that actually would be pretty cool, just to get to chat with them.
Yeah, it would be cool. You could always ask. Anthrax why they won't sing John Bush era stuff right now.
Exactly. I wonder if Charlie would feel offended if I said, "Hey, man, where's Carla?"
I'm sure you wouldn't be the only one to ask. Wow. You probably wouldn't be the only person to ask that. So he probably gets that shit all the time anyway.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
Just out on the street, just walking around town. Hey, where's Carla? We want to see Carla.
All right, so
was that all the news from the past couple of weeks?
I still got some stuff here. So
okay, well I'm all out of news. So by all means, take it away, sir.
So I'm gonna get long winded here on this one right here. So bear with me. So nearly 2 decades on from their formation in Santa Barbara, California, Devil Driver are firmly established as a permanent fixture in the metal world. One of the most legendarily hard-working bands in the business, Das Fafara and his comrades won people over the old school way by touring relentlessly and making new albums at every opportunity. The first 2 Devil Driver albums, 2003's eponymous debut and 2005's The Fury of Our Maker's Hand, had aggressively established the band's trademark blend of brutal grooves and dark melodic hooks. But it was their third, The Last Kind Words, that truly sealed their reputation as modern heavy metal heavyweights. Released in the summer of 2007, it was Incendiary. Can't freaking talk. Incendiary. Oh my god, I cannot believe it. Anyway, eruption of rage and riffs, replete with several. I really need my glasses for this shit. Replete several instant classics. From the outside, it looked as though Devil Driver were hitting a new level of potency, but according to Dez, things were not running entirely smoothly behind the scenes. There was a real craziness behind that record, he states. We were putting out a record every 2 years. We were touring constantly. We were at home. We were writing and recording. So I think the band unit itself during that time was starting to come apart, to be honest. But the music, oddly enough, was really coming together. I say to the guys that it had to be a heavier record with more groove, and we had to put our best foot forward, and the guys really brought into it. Although Devil Driver released Head On to Heartache, Let Them Rot as a single prior to the release of The Last Kind Words, it would be the album's second track that was swiftly embraced as the anthem of the band's ever-expanding fan base. Brutal and relentless, but eminently catchy, The Clouds Over California has remained a permanent fixture in Devil Driver's set list ever since. Its chorus calls to arms, let the chaos reign, becoming an expected moment of chaos at the band's already chaotic and exhilarating shows. Despite its aggressive, pit-enticing vibe, the song was originally inspired by a much more reflective moment. I was sitting in our townhouse in Santa Barbara, about a block away from the Santa Barbara Bowl, where a lot of music goes on, Dez recalls. On Saturdays, I could sit out in my backyard and hear the Eagles or whoever was playing. It was pretty interesting. It was a pretty interesting spot. it had a vibe about it. It was up against the mountains with 100-foot eucalyptus trees all around me. I was looking outside through these big double doors out of to my backyard and up at the mountains, and then there were clouds everywhere. With 2 weeks left to finalize lyrics for the last kind words, Des was on the lookout for an inspiration, and usually dark and gloomy California day was just the kickstart he needed. My wife Anastasia and I started talking, and I can't remember if it was her or I, but someone said no one's going anywhere if there's clouds over California because no one goes out in the rain here, you know. They stated that started the whole process. In that song, I'm discussing the nature of the beast and being in a band, being driven to do what you want to do and really going for it. It's about the way it feels on tour too. Lost in this world, out on the edge with death by our sides. That was because we already experienced nearly dying in an RV. We'd had a lot of craziness happen to us, and then the line "Let the chaos reign" was definitely written to be said from the stage. Fresh from the road, the band arrived at the Sonic Ranch studio near El Paso in Texas in November of 2006. The band were certainly enjoying a great sense of collective momentum at that point, but The Last Kind of Words was still destined to be a hugely important record in their careers. Unfortunately, having spent such vast amounts of time together on the road, tensions between them were at an all time high. The music was great, but it was also coming apart at the seams on that record, Des recalls ruefully. Um, we were in Texas out on a 55 to 60 acre pecan farm in the middle of the desert, butted up against the Mexican mountains. Me and drummer John Boyklin were totally at each other's throats. Everyone was staying in their rooms, and there was a really trippy, distant feeling between us. We vibed together at the end of the session, but it was a weird time. Looking back, it was because we toured so much and we needed a break, but we just went straight into the studio. Irrespective of the weird atmosphere, Devil Driver clearly achieved their goals at Sonic Ranch. Songs like Ferocious opening track Not All Who Wander Are Lost and of course Clouds Over California were more vicious and more memorable than anything the band has done before. Despite themselves, the Californians were set to outstrip their previous achievements and deliver an authentic modern classic, and Dez was in a celebratory mood as he entered the vocal booth to record his band's soon-to-be ultimate crowd pleaser. Excuse me. I remember that night that we were recording Clouds Over California. The band was vibing and getting along extremely well, he notes. We were out in this beautiful studio in the middle of the desert. It's nighttime, and inside there's Native American stuff everywhere and dimmer lights, and it was just a really magical thing. Before I'd record, I used to like to sit with the band and get fucking drunk and listen to Pantera or Black Sabbath or whatever the go-to was at that time. We drank a gallon of Jack Daniels, and then I said to the producer, quite rudely, if I'm honest, turn the fucking mic on. Jason, the producer, turned on the mic, and I laid that song down in maybe 4 takes. But yeah, I was hammered when I recorded that tune. Ha ha ha. They almost certainly still needed a break, but Devil Driver soon hit the road again, armed with their strongest album to date. By the time they reached Europe, it was more than apparent that Clouds Over California had been adopted as a major anthem for the band's diehard fans, and the subsequent circle pits and outright chaos that erupted at every single show noisily confirmed that Devil Driver were the real deal. If anyone was still ambivalent about the singer from Cold Chamber's new band, seeing them live was practically guaranteed to seal the deal. I definitely think the band had a lot more to prove, and it was quite a run with those guys, says Dez. I wouldn't change a thing. Everybody gave their all. I had a great time with everybody, and I was surrounded by great musicians who were doing great shit and going off on stage. We were fucking hungry. I was the hungriest guy on the planet, and they were matching that hunger. They all fucking killed it. Not content with making their best album to date and smashing all comers on the road, Devil Driver also pulled off a major coup when Clouds Over California was selected as one of the songs for the 2007 video game Rock Band. Excuse me. Excuse me. My kids played that game, so it was kind of cool. Des chuckles. Their friends were over, and they'd be playing that game, and our song was on it. And I have to admit that it was a little surreal, but that was a lucky moment for sure. Today, only Dez and guitarist Mike Spritzer remain from the lineup that recorded the last Con words, but Devil Driver are still firmly in go mode, albeit currently thwarted by pandemic restrictions. Nonetheless, when some kind of normality returns, you can guarantee that Devil Driver will be one of the first bands to hit the road with a vengeance, armed as ever with one of the greatest ever songs to lose your shit to. As Dez himself bellows from the stage each night, let the chaos reign. Every band has those songs that you absolutely have to play live. I can't imagine Devil Driver playing a show and not playing Clouds Over California, or I Could Care Less. Dez concludes, we just couldn't do it. I'll get seven songs into the show, and people are always screaming for Clouds Over California. Every show, it's like, dude, we're going to get to it. I promise. We have 15 songs to play, and it's coming. Oh, and by the way, I haven't taken a breath in an hour, so calm down. You'll get your tune. That was from Metal Hammer. So yeah, I probably couldn't imagine them not playing that song as well. I
absolutely could.
If I definitely paid money to see Devil Driver, they damn well better play Clouds Over California.
Well, see, the funny thing is like I've been a fan of Des Fafara's since Cold Chamber. I was a huge Cold Chamber fan, and when they broke up and he formed Devil Driver, I just kind of followed Des over to that band. And when their self-titled debut album came out, it's such a good album. And thankfully, when I went to Ozfest in 2004 up there in Nashville, I was able to actually. I actually paid for 2 meet and greets, and Dez was one of them. I paid to meet those guys. I paid to meet Devil Driver, and I also paid to see Superjoint Ritual so I could meet Phil Anselmo. Right. But anyway, so I already had Devil Driver's debut album on CD here at the house, but I didn't know at the time that I was going to be able to have a chance to do a meet and greet. So I bought another copy at Ozfest just so I could have them autograph it. So I have, so I got to meet all those guys. I got to, shake their hands and all that good stuff, and got to tell Dez that I'd been a fan of his, since Cold Chamber, and he appreciated that. And so I've got that CD down on the shelf right now, autographed by all those guys. But as far as I'm concerned, they were already huge even before that third album came out, because their debut album was fantastic. The Fury of Our Maker's Hands was great. It's got so many good songs on it. But yeah, Clouds Over California I would say is probably my favorite Devil Driver song, and that's saying something, because with some of the good songs that they have, the title track off of The Fury of Our Maker's Hands, Head On to Heartache, Let Them Rot is a great song, and there's probably like 4 or 5 absolutely solid tracks on the debut album that are just so good. I Could Care Less, I Dreamed I Died. There's so much good music that they put out. I'll admit that I didn't care for their Outlaw Country cover album that they did, but I just don't really care for country music. But right. At this point, with the career that Des Fafara has had and the catalog that Devil Driver has at this point, is kind of one of those things. Is like, hey, you guys, earn the right to go off and do something like that if you want to. Personally, like I say, I didn't care for it, but they kind of more or less have carte blanche at this point. And their cover of Wasted Years by Iron Maiden is even fantastic. And I don't remember the original artist, to be honest with you, but the cover they did of that song Sail. Oh yeah, that was oh crap. Was it Muse? No, it wasn't Muse. It was oh shit. Well, anyway, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. I forgot. Yeah, I don't remember the original artist, but I mean the cover they did of that song was fantastic. And then when the new album came out, the hell? Why am I completely Dealing with Demons? Yeah, I completely went blank. When Dealing with Demons came out, and I heard that, and I heard that song Wishing, I was fucking blown away when I heard that song. The song AWOL Nation did that song. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well,
I knew it started with an A. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. Well, for me, the original artist didn't matter because I honestly didn't really give a shit about that song. And then when Devil Driver covered it, I was like, wow, they actually did a great job on a song that I didn't really care for initially. But yeah, when Wishing came out, when Dealing with Demons came out, and I heard that new dynamic that Dez added to that song with the clean vocals for the first time since Cold Chamber rather, I was like, holy shit, that's like a new wrinkle for them. And I don't know if it's going to be something that they're going to be doing going forward every so often, but the fact that I knew he could pull it off already because I heard it in the past, but the fact that he added that to Devil Driver for the first time this far into their career, it was just it was phenomenal to hear, and I was blown away by that song. So
well, I mean,
I'm a huge Devil Driver fan.
You know, like we were talking about, just going back a little bit to the Slipknot or the Stone Sour story where we talk about Corey Taylor did the CMFT. We didn't like that, but I mean, that's like you said, you know, Corey Taylor's did enough in the business where if he wanted to go out and do something like that, that's, you know, he definitely has every right to do so. So I mean,
oh, absolutely, he earned the right to go out and make that solo album, and you know, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 songs, overall, I didn't care for it, but you know. Right. You know, he came out before he even put it out. He came out and said, this isn't going to be a heavy metal album.
Right.
You know, this isn't going to be a heavy metal album. It's not going to be a Slipknot album. You know, this is me going out and you know, stretching my legs musically. And that may not be exactly how he said it, but, and you know, that's exactly what he did. And he's earned the right to do that. I guarantee you a lot of people liked it. Me personally, overall, I didn't care for it, but hey, I mean, he's got carte blanche at this point, and I think Devil Driver kind of does too.
Yeah. All right. I got a couple more here to get through. So,
all right, cool.
Wolfgang Van Halen has opened up about touring alongside his father in Van Halen when he was just a teenager. Wolfgang first joined his late father, Eddie Van Halen, on Van Halen's tour back in 2007, replacing Michael Anthony on bass. Speaking in a new interview with Classic Rock magazine, Wolfgang remembers how he learned to ignore the criticism he faced in this new role. Quote, I was just there to support my father any way I could. Wolfgang told Classic Rock he was newly sober, and because of that was dealing with some performance anxiety, so I was very happy to be there for him. The backlash wasn't anything that I thought too much about, though he admits that the time taught him a lesson about dealing with fans and the media. Oh, for sure, he said. I now feel like a veteran in dealing with unwarranted criticism. In the same interview, Wolfgang discussed his song Distance that was released as a tribute to his late father, who passed away October 2020. I wasn't planning on Distance being the first song of mine that people heard, Wolfgang said, but getting it out as a tribute to Dad felt like the right thing to do. Also, for the money to go to his favorite charity, the Mr. Holland's Opus Foundation. The track features on the debut self-titled album from Wolfgang's new project, Mammoth WVH, which is out June 11th. Hey, that's next week.
Yes, it is.
You can read more on Wolfgang Van Halen in the new issue of Classic Rock, which is available now. That story is from Metal Hammer. So 2 things here. How cool was it for you to be a teenager and playing with your father in Van Halen? I mean, first off, you know, replacing Michael Anthony on bass is pretty much would give me stage anxiety for one, just to start off. so for him to be there, so for him to be there as a support for his father and not have anxiety itself is just unreal to me. And just playing with your dad. I mean, how many people get the opportunity to say, "Hey, I played alongside my father," you know, in a band.
Right.
Most people create their own bands and not really play with their fathers or anything like that. So I just thought that whole story was kind of cool. Just in those aspects, you know.
Yeah, I think the word surreal doesn't even, you know, I think it's even
right.
underestimation of what that had to be for him.
Hey, there it is. So Download will stage a reduced capacity government-approved festival at Donington Park on June 18th through the 20th. The full bill for the event, expected to feature around 40 bands, will be unveiled on May 28th, which is already passed. Ticket holders for Download 2022 will be given priority access to purchase tickets for the June event. All tickets will be weekend camping tickets only. No day tickets will be released, and you will need to stay on site for the duration of the festival. As a government scientist events research program event, festival goers will need to consent to take part and must be over 16. The best news: moshing will be totally allowed.
I don't think
Festival,
they were. I don't think they would have been able to stop that anyway. Be like, hey,
yeah, no, no,
you cut that out.
yeah. Hey,
Cut that out.
you know,
Yeah.
4 people trying to stop 10,000 probably wouldn't work very well.
Right. Yeah.
But
It's kind of
Festival Repellent director Melvin Ben says, following the huge success of our Sefton Park event, we are delighted to contribute to phase 2 of the government's events research program with the creation of the first 3-day camping festival, which will be the download pilot at Donington Park. This massive step will help us understand and study the safe return of larger scale events with no social distancing or face mask over a full weekend. The return of the full festival experience we will have all been waiting for, and much needed return to work for musicians, backstage crew, caterers, and many more that form part of the UK's exemplary live music industry. A statement about the event layouts lays out the following conditions for entry. Whilst festival goers will not be socially distanced or required to wear face coverings once inside the festival, they will be required to follow existing government guidance when traveling to and from Donington Park and adhere to rules set out by the festival organizers. Attendees must have proof of negative lateral flow test results to enter the festival. As part of a wider scientific research on the trial events, the download pilot attendees will also be asked to take a PCR test before and after the event to gather further evidence on the safety of the festival camping experience, reduce social distancing, and the removal of non pharmaceutical interventions like face coverings. They will also have to provide contact details for NHS test and trace to ensure everyone can be traced in the event of an audience member receiving a positive test after the event. Health Secretary Matt Hancock added that the results from the concert would inform our approach to ensuring future big events can take place safely. So they're actually doing experiments while they're doing the festivals, which is kind of, I mean, I guess it's kind of, very much needed. I think, in that case, you would actually be able to definitely know uh, if anyone contracted while you were there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that's a good thing because if nobody everybody goes away and not show any signs of it, then I'm sure the festivals are going to crank back up a lot more quicker.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes, and it'll also be interesting to see what happens. Because download that's over there in England, right at Donington.
Yeah. Donington Park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
over there in the UK. It'll actually be interesting. I'm actually going to be interested to see what happens over the next few weeks here in this country, because right now you've got the NHL and the NBA playoffs going on, and the arenas here in the United States have allowed fans back in, and some of the cities have allowed fans to come back at full capacity. So you're talking about 15 to 20,000
Mm-hmm.
fans at some of these hockey games. I don't know what up in Canada they aren't. They're still not allowing any fans in the buildings in Canada. Well, they are in Montreal. They actually just changed it, but by and large, they weren't allowing any fans at the hockey games in Canada. But here in the United States, some of these arenas are back to full capacity. People are having to wear masks and shit, but I mean, you still got
Right.
20,000 people in an arena. I don't know what the capacities are at the arenas for the NBA playoffs, but I do know that fans have been allowed. So it'll be interesting to see if there are any spikes in any COVID numbers over the next couple weeks, maybe month, while the playoffs are still going on. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Right. Well, I mean, not to get off, metal subject, but we
Right.
pretty much know that if nothing comes of it, you're gonna say, oh, well, that's because everybody was vaccinated, even though if everybody was or wasn't.
That's true. That's true. I mean, hell, even me personally, I'm halfway fully vaccinated. I've had one dose, and I'll probably have the other one, relatively soon. So I mean, I'll be vaccinated at some point. But like you said, it's not going to guarantee that I won't get it. If I'm standing next to somebody at Walmart who's got COVID and sneezes on me, I'm sure I'll get it again. So there are no guarantees.
Well, my biggest problem with all this right now is I feel like because I had COVID and we both did. Back in March, and my doctor had informed me that to not take anything for 6 months. So I just going by what my doctor said. Like, everybody's got their own opinions, and what he said kind of made sense. He's just like, they say 3 to 6 months, but he said with something we don't know that much about, I would probably take the 6 months. So that's what I'm doing. If it's September, I feel the need, then I'll go back and I'll definitely get vaccinated, because that's some shit I really don't want again.
The funny thing about it is, for me, I was still, I wasn't even 100% sure I was even going to get vaccinated at some point, but where I work, they had the Murray Regional Hospital, they had like a mobile whatever the hell you want to call it, a mobile medical center, come to the plant, and they were giving them out. So I mean, well, hell, I figured, well, why the fuck not? If they're going to come here and give them out, I might as well go ahead. So I mean, I wasn't even sure I was going to get vaccinated up until the day that I decided to get it, just because I didn't have to make a doctor's appointment, take time off work, and all that other shit. So they came to me. So that was ultimately the determining factor on me getting that first dose. It's like, all right, you came to me and you're going to give it to me for free, then I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So I was on the fence about it right up until the time that I even went ahead and did it. So
and like they did that where I work too, and we actually had. We've had a couple of people that actually gotten sick from the first dose, so they're kind of skeptical about the second one now. But I mean, the thing that people need to realize is we're all chemically different. If we were all the same, then what kind of world would this be? It wouldn't be very fun. But
yeah, exactly. But yes. So long story short, just to not to get off on a completely unrelated rant. Yeah, but it'll still be interesting to see if anything comes of these large gatherings of people in these these venues.
Like you said, I think the thing that pisses me off worse than anything is like they trying to tell you that, and this has actually came out of words that I've heard from people involved at my work. That are giving out the shots. Oh, well, if you get the shot, you can't get the virus, which is bullshit. It's a virus. I mean,
right. Yeah.
If that was the case, then nobody would ever have the flu. It would be eradicated by now,
That's true. Yeah.
But anyway, so.
But yeah, we digress quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, one last story here. Donita Sparks of L7 has revealed what happened when the Punk Renegades met Motley Crue. While L7 were working in the same studio complex as Motley Crue, Tommy Lee invited them to hang out, and they were met with the sight of a room plastered with centerfolds. When L7 returned the invitation to the crew, they made sure that their own base was covered wall to wall with male pornography. There was just penises everywhere, Donita laughs. In an interview with Classic Rock magazine, Donita also remembers the early days of L7 and the rise of grunge. These were bands that dug us and were waiting for chicks to come out there and hit them over the head with a frying pan, Donita says. I think one of grunge's greatest legacies is the temporary slaying of misogyny in rock. In the same interview, Donita also looks back at the tampon incident at Reading Festival 92. The band were suffering technical difficulties on stage and the audience were getting impatient, so they started pelting L7 with mud. Donita responded by throwing a used tampon into the audience. Oh my God. It was just not fun, and it was like a slow motion gig. Donita revealed to Classic Rock, referring to the tampon incident. She said, so I went performance art with a little bit of humor and a little bit of politics, I suppose. You can read more from the L7, the new issue of Classic Rock magazine, which is available now. I think that's just hilarious how they turned the tide on Motley Crue. So you show up at yours with centerfold, you're going to show up to ours with penises everywhere. So.
The funny thing is I mean, you could say that they turned the tables on Motley Crue, but what L7 doesn't realize, that whenever Motley Crue's around and Tommy Lee's in the room, there's already penis everywhere.
Yeah, right. Yeah. True. Oh, did I knock that lamp over? I'm sorry.
So I mean, it's kind of it's kind of redundant, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
But yeah,
So
I didn't know
was,
about that. I didn't know about that tampon thing. That's
I didn't either. I was reading that. I was like, wow, that's pretty nasty.
Yeah.
I guess that's what you get for pelting them with mud. So
that's true. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
That's right.
Yeah.
So one of those things that don't dish out if you can't take it, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
She traded mud for blood, I guess.
Hey, that's right, man. That's right. Hey, fight fire with fire, I guess.
Yeah, they should have started playing "If You Want Blood, You Got It" right after that.
True. Wow. Would have been fitting.
Yeah. That's all the weekend metal news. Well, 2 weeks in metal news, I guess. This week.
2 weeks in metal.
Yeah, that's why we apologize. So we were 2 weeks behind. So a lot of the stuff we were putting out there, we're saying tickets were available like May 28th or what. So obviously that has passed. So just know you can get all that stuff now. You don't have to wait.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean, you can still go out and get tickets to some of these things. Just know that they've been on sale for at least a week.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's move into metal history.
Oh boy, do I have some history?
Yeah, I seen that list. I seen the list on there, and I thought, man, this is going to be. I mean, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to look over here at my CD collection and see how many of these I got. So.
Yeah, because this could be. I mean, I've got. This is. I'll try to read this a little faster than I normally do, because normally we're trying to make sure that we're getting a full 2 hours in.
Yeah, we got a good hour left. So
yeah, we got an hour. We got a little bit of an hour left, so I don't really need to rush. But yeah, this is a good 6 or 7 full notebook pages front and back of release dates here. So without further ado, this is This Week in Metal History for the last 2 weeks, brought to you by This Day in Metal and Metalhead Marv over at Twitter and at Facebook. So go follow Metalhead Marv at This Day in Metal on Twitter or on Facebook. I actually follow him on both, and that's where this information comes from. It's courtesy of Metalhead Marv. So, like I say, without further ado, leading off with May 22nd, these are going to be some holdovers from the very end of our show 2 weeks ago. May 22nd, 1993, Lavatory releases To Protect and Serve. May 22nd, 1990, Erotikill releases their debut album Virgin Speed. May 22nd of 2012, 6 Feet Under releases Undead. May 22nd of 2001, Static X releases Machine, and Motley Crue's book The Dirt is published. May 22nd of 2005, Destruction releases Inventor of Evil. May 22nd of 2007, Ozzy Osbourne releases Black Rain, which debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200. May 22nd of 1991, Morbid Angel releases Blessed Are the Sick. May 22nd of 2000, Blaze Bayley releases his debut album Silicon Messiah, and White Skull releases Public Glory Secret Agony. May 22nd, 2009, Primal Fear releases 16.6 Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, and Cage releases Science of Annihilation. May 22nd, 1994, Mekong Delta releases Visions Fugitives. May 22nd, 1992, My Dying Bride releases their debut album As the Flower Withers. May 22nd, 1995, Rage releases Black in Mind. And May 22nd of 1996, Impellitteri releases Screaming Symphony. Moving ahead to the 23rd, May 23rd, 1980, Iron Maiden releases the single Sanctuary, and Judas Priest releases the single Breaking the Law. May 23rd of 1998, Cacophony releases Go Off. May 23rd of 1979, Kiss releases Dynasty. May 23rd, 1992. Check out this show lineup, Jason. Megadeth, Pantera, and Skid Row perform at the Wrecking Ball concert at the Alpine Valley Music Center in East Troy, Wisconsin. Jesus. There were a total of 123 arrests.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, go figure.
Was one of them Sebastian Bach though?
Probably. 123 total arrests. I probably would have taken the over on that, to be completely honest with you.
Right.
Yeah. May 20th, but that bill though, Megadeth, Pantera, and Skid Row. Holy shit, man.
That's just, man.
That's bonkers.
I see some stuff like that now and just think, God dang, how did I miss that? You know?
Yeah, if only, right? Yeah. May 23rd, 1987, Helloween releases Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1, which peaked at number 104 on the Billboard 200. May 23rd, 2006, Prototype releases Continuum. May 23rd, 2005, Bruce Dickinson releases Tyranny of Souls. May 23rd of 1995, Dokken releases Dysfunctional, which debuted at number 47 on the Billboard 200, and Malevolent Creation releases Eternal. May 23rd of 2000, King's X releases Please Come Home, Mr. Bulbous. I don't know who Mr. Bulbous is, but
we may not.
I'm just saying. Yeah, we may not want to know, but somebody wants Mr. Bulbous to come home. Moving ahead to what I was writing that album title down, and all I could do was chuckle in my head.
I know, right?
How can you not? May 24th. Moving ahead to the 24th. May 24th of 2010, Enforcer releases Diamonds. And on a sad note, Slipknot bassist Paul Gray passes away at the age of 38. May 24th, 1993, Wasp releases The Crimson Idol. May 24th of 1986, AC/DC releases Who Made Who, which peaked at number 33 on the Billboard 200. May 24th of 1985, Destruction releases their debut album Infernal Overkill. May 24th of 1991, Cancer releases Death Shall Rise. May 24th of 2013, Anvil releases Hope in Hell, and Kylesa releases Ultraviolet. May 24th of 2019, Diamond Head releases The Coffin Train, and Flesh God Apocalypse releases Veleno. May 24th of 1984, Battle Axe releases Power from the Universe. May 24th of 2004, Eldritch releases Portrait of the Abyss Within, and Therion releases Lemuria. May 25th of 2008, Steel Preacher releases Drinking with the Devil. May 24th, 1994, Mayhem releases their debut album, De Mysteriis Dum Sathanis. I don't know what the hell that translates to. I didn't bother looking it up. Let's see. If I'm going to take a guess, De Mysteriis Dum Sathanis, the mystery of Satan, maybe? I don't know. That's just a stab at it. I don't even know what language it's in, to be honest with you. But that's my college try that I'm going to give that one. May 24th of 2005, Nile releases Annihilation of the Wicked. May 24th, 1998, Van Halen releases OU812, which peaked at number 1 on the Billboard 200. May 24th, 1995, Slayer releases the single Serenity and Murder. And May 24th, 2011, Hemorrhage releases Hospital Carnage. Moving ahead to the 25th, May 25th, 1987, Death releases their debut album, Scream Bloody Gore. May 25th, 1985, Vicious Rumors releases their debut album, Soldiers of the Night, and Breaker releases their debut album, Dead Rider. May 25th of 1992, Candlemass releases Chapter 6, and Accuser releases Repent. May 25th, 1983, Dio releases Holy Diver. May 25th, 1981, Anvil releases their debut album, Hard and Heavy. May 25th of 2015, Leprous releases The Congregation. May 25th of 2007, Sonata Arctica releases Unia. May 25th, 2012, Sabaton releases Carolus Rex, which is a really good album. May 25th, 1993, another good album. Anthrax releases Sound of White Noise, which was the debut of John Bush. Yes. May 25th, 2004, Slipknot releases Volume 3, The Subliminal Verses. It actually earned Slipknot their first Grammy in 2006 for the track Before I Forget. May 25th, 1995, Outrage releases Life Until Death. Not Death, Death, until you can't hear anymore. Life Until Death. Huh? Yeah. Moving ahead to the 26th, May 26th, 2003, Twisted Tower Dire releases Crest of the Martyrs. Gravedigger releases Rheingold, and Amorphous releases Far From the Sun. May 26th of 1986, Europe releases The Final Countdown, which peaked at number 8 on the Billboard 200 and sold 15 million copies worldwide. Yeah, they did pretty well with that one. May 26th of 2017, Danzig releases Black Laden Crown. May 26th of 1983, Rat Attack releases their self-titled debut album. May 26th of 1992, Monstrosity releases their debut album, Imperial Doom. May 26th of 1987, Renegade releases their debut album, Total Armageddon. May 26th of 2006, Threat Signal releases their debut album, Under Reprisal. May 26th of 2014, Crowbar releases Symmetry in Black. And May 26, 1997, Kingdom Come releases Masters 7. Moving ahead to the 27th, May 27th of 2003, Sepultura releases Roarback. May 27th, 1987, Viper releases their debut album, Soldiers of Sunrise. May 27th, 2016, Death Angel releases The Evil Divide, which peaked at number 98 on the Billboard 200. May 27th, 1988, Brokus Helm releases Black Death. May 27th, 2011, Amorphous releases The Beginning of Times. May 27th, 2002, Nocturnal Rites releases Shadowland. May 25th, 1995, Bathory releases The Return. May 27th, 2013, Dark Tranquillity releases Construct. May 27th, 1996, Bathory releases Blood on Ice. So Bathory had 2 releases on the same day, 1 year apart. So, yeah. Moving ahead to the 28th, May 28th, 1991, Dismember releases their debut album, Like an Ever-Flowing Stream. May 28th of 2002, Mastodon releases their debut album, Remission. May 28th of 1983, Vanadium releases A Race with the Devil. May 28th, 1984, Bruce Dickinson releases the single Tears of the Dragon. Lita Ford releases Dancing on the Edge, and Wasp releases the single I Wanna Be Somebody. May 28th of 2021, Slizzard releases their self-titled debut album. So, just a week ago, Slizzard had a brand new, their debut album came out. So go check that out.
Yeah, I've seen something about that on one of the, when I was researching the stories for the week. I seen that on somebody's album reviews. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't checked that out yet.
Yeah,
but
I think I'm going to, because they had some pretty good reviews on it. So
yeah, I'm probably going to check that out too. I just hadn't had time to yet. But yeah, 1 week ago, Slizzard has their self-titled debut album. May 28th, 1982, Legend releases Death in the Nursery. May 28th of 2013, Sacred Oath releases Fallen, and Alice in Chains releases The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here, which peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the top rock albums chart. May 28th, 1985, Cutty Sark releases Heroes. May 28th, 1986, Steel Crown releases their debut album, Sunset Warriors. I don't know where I came up with Sweet, but anyway, that's that word was not in the title. It was Sunset Warriors is what it was. May 28th of 1999, Aborted releases their debut album, The Purity of Perversion. Moving ahead to the 29th, May 29th of 2000, Iron Maiden releases Brave New World, which peaked at number 7 on the UK albums chart and debuted at number 39 on the Billboard 200. May 29th, 1989, Strana Officina releases their debut album, Rock and Roll Prisoners. May 29th of 2015, Halloween releases My God-Given Right. May 29th, 1985, Warlock releases Hellbound, and Lions Breed releases their debut album, Damn the Night. May 29th of 1995, Gamma Ray releases Land of the Free. May 29th, 2001, Quiet Riot releases Guilty Pleasures. May 29th, 2009, TYR releases By the Light of the Northern Star. May 29th of 2020, Gravedigger releases Fields of Blood. And May 29th, 1990, Artillery releases By Inheritance. Moving ahead to the 30th, May 30th, 1985, Sad Wings releases their debut album, Lonely Hero. And Convict releases their debut album, Go Ahead, Make My Day. May 30th, 1984, Wiz releases their debut album, Crazy Games. May 30th, 2011, Arch Enemy releases Chaos Legions, which peaked at number 78 on the Billboard 200 and was the band's last album featuring singer Angela Gossow. May 30th of 1986, Special Forces releases their self-titled debut album. May 30th, 2008, Sabaton releases The Art of War. May 30th, 2014, Vader releases Tibi et Igni. Again, I don't know what the hell that translates to. May 30th, 1980, Trust releases Repression. May 30th, 1983, 220 Volt releases their debut album, 220 Volts. So that was a self-titled debut album for them. And May 30th, 1990, Spread Eagle releases their self-titled debut album. Moving ahead to the 31st, May 31st, 1986, the documentary Heavy Metal Parking Lot is filmed. May 31st, 2016, Omen releases Hammer Damage. May 31st, 1987, Possessed releases the Eyes of Horror EP. May 31st, 1999, Sodom releases Code Red, and In Flames releases Colony. May 31st, 2019, Jason, you'll remember this one, Death Angel releases Humanicide.
Yes, I do. Actually seen them on that tour too. So.
Yeah, it was a fantastic album too. May 31st, 1993, Halloween releases Chameleon. May 31st, 1991, Venom releases Temples of Ice. May 31st, 2005, Sentenced releases the Funeral album, which was the band's final album. And I actually have that downstairs on the shelf right now. May 31st, 1994, Napalm Death releases Fear, Emptiness, Despair, which peaked at number 22 on the Billboard Heat Seekers chart. And that wraps up May. Moving ahead to June 1st, 1985, Lizzie Borden releases their debut album, Love You to Pieces, and Glacier releases a self-titled EP. June 1st, 2011, Terror Dome releases their debut album, We'll Show You Mosh, Bitch. So, It was a fantastic debut album title. We'll show you Mosh, bitch.
That may be the best ever.
It probably was. June 1st, 1987, Coroner releases their debut album, R.I.P., and Celtic Frost releases Into the Pandemonium. June 1st, 2012, Creator releases Phantom Antichrist, which debuted at number 130 on the Billboard 200. June 1st, 1993, Sentenced releases North From Here. I actually think I have that album too. June 1st, 1989, Sodom releases Agent Orange, and Phantom Blue releases their self-titled debut album. June 1st of 1981, Demon releases their debut album, Night of the Demon. June 1st, 1990, Destruction releases Cracked Brain. June 1st, 1999, Annihilator releases Criteria for a Black Widow, and Immolation releases Failures for Gods. June 1st, 1995, Sodom releases Masquerade in Blood. June 1st, 2018, Ghost releases Prequel, which debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200. Cataclysm releases Meditations. June 1st, 1994, Grave releases Soulless. June 1st, 2015, Paradise Lost releases The Plague Within. And June 1st, 1998, Enslaved releases Blodhem. Moving ahead to the June 2nd, 2015, Armored Saint releases Win Hands Down, which peaked at number 183 on the Billboard 200. June 2nd, 1986, Elixir releases their debut album, The Son of Odin. June 2nd of 2009, Havoc releases their debut album, Burn. Great band, great album. June 2nd, 1984, Easy Meat releases their debut album, Not for Wimps. Jesus Christ. June 2nd, 1985, Storm Witch releases Tales of Terror. June 2nd, 1983, Satan releases their debut album, Court in the Act. June 2nd, 1980, Accept releases I Am Rebel. June 2nd, 1992, Cyanide releases their debut album, The Dying Truth. And Merciless releases their debut album, Abject Offerings. June 2nd, 1982. This one will be hard for you to imagine, Jason, because it was hard for me to imagine when I wrote it. June 2nd, 1982, Iron Maiden opens for 38 Special at Nashville Municipal Auditorium in Nashville, Tennessee, in support of their album, The Number of the Beast.
What?
It's hard to imagine Iron Maiden opening up for anybody, especially 38 Special, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Seems like a definitely the odd couple, but
that's an odd billing there. So
yeah, but since it was a local show, I figured I would include that one. It's kind of crazy to realize that the municipal auditorium is actually still around, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
I actually was mentioning that to the wife the other day. I said, That's, all the, we talk about all these places are, since the pandemic's hit and all that, we're talking about closing up and not doing anything, or you got, the mayor of Nashville trying to tear some of the places down to build a damn hotel that we don't need.
Right.
Things like that. So, to say, or to even think that municipal is still around after all these years is just amazing. So,
yeah. Yeah.
Especially when you think about when they put the arena in, you almost thought that, okay, that's going to take the place of municipal, but
right.
Municipal still being able to hang in there and still put stuff in there. So
yeah, man, it's still around and kicking. So, good for them. Hell, it'll be at least, I don't even know when the building opened. I'll have to look it up, but I mean, June 2nd of 82. So, I mean, we're just 12 months away from that building being, at least 40 years old. So I don't even know when it opened. Anyway, June 2nd, 1988, Pariah releases their debut album, The Kindred. Pandemonium releases The Kill, and Demon releases Taking the World by Storm. June 2nd, 1987, Axmaster releases their debut album, Blessing in the Skies. June 2nd, 1989, Heir Apparent releases One Small Voice. June 2nd, 1993, Insanity releases their debut album, Death After Death. And June 2nd, 2017, Unleash the Archers releases Apex. Moving ahead to the 3rd, June 3rd, 1987, Assassin releases their debut album, The Upcoming Terror. June 3rd, 1982, Raven releases Wiped Out. June 3rd, 2011, Saxon releases Call to Arms. June 3rd, 1990, Bitter End releases their debut album, Harsh Realities. June 3rd, 1988, Vinnie Moore releases Time Odyssey, which peaked at number 147 on the Billboard 200. June 3rd, 1986, Iron Angel releases Winds of War. June 3rd, 2002, Freedom Call releases Eternity, and Iron Savior releases Condition Red. June 3rd, 2014, Loudness releases The Sun Will Rise Again. June 3rd, 1994, Bruce Dickinson releases Balls to Picasso. June 3rd, 1970, Deep Purple releases Deep Purple in Rock. June 3rd, 1991, Evil Dead releases The Underworld. June 3rd, 1997, Flotsam and Jetsam releases High, and Napalm Death releases Inside the Torn Apart. June 3rd, 2016, Hell Yeah releases Undeniable. And June 3rd, 2008, Disturbed releases Indestructible, which debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, their 3rd consecutive number 1 debut.
But they're moving ahead.
No, but they're not headliners. No, not at all. Moving ahead to June 4th, 1970, Metalhead Marv is born. So
nice.
Our friend Marv over at This Day in Metal, his birthday was, let's see, today's the 5th?
Yesterday.
His birthday was yesterday. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Marv.
So yeah, happy birthday, Marv. You get a chance to go over to This Day in Metal on Twitter or over at Facebook. Go ahead and wish Metalhead Marv a happy birthday. June 4th, 2002, Vader releases Revelations, and Manowar releases Warriors of the World, which peaked at number 2 on the German charts. June 4th, 2007, Dream Theater releases Systemic Chaos, which peaked at number 19 on the Billboard 200. And Iron Savior releases Megatropolis. June 4th, 1983, Motorhead releases Another Perfect Day. June 4th, 2013, Megadeth releases Super Collider, which somehow peaked at number 6 on the Billboard 200.
Somehow, yeah.
I did not like that album
I didn't
at
either.
all. Man, I didn't like that album at all. But I mean, good for them to get all the way up to number 6. But man, that was just, they can't all be winners.
Yeah, at least Metallica didn't debut at number 5.
Right. Yeah. Oh man. That would have just been the thing. That would be something that would have happened to Dave, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
June 4th, 1996, Metallica releases Load, which debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and stayed there for 4 straight weeks.
Why, we don't know.
It's not a bad album. Come on now.
No, it's not.
It's not a bad album. June 4th, 1990, Entombed releases their debut album, Left Hand Path. And finally, moving ahead to the 5th, June 5th, 2013, Metallica releases Saint Anger, which peaked at number 1 on the Billboard 200.
Now that one, we will say we don't know how that happened.
Yeah, we don't know how that. I mean, and I bought it. I'll admit it. I bought it.
Yeah, I did too. So.
But man, it had to have gotten to number 1 just because of mainly
Metallica.
just because of name recognition. It had to have been. But hey, whatever works, whatever gets you there.
Yeah, right.
And Epica releases their debut album, The Phantom Agony. June 5th, 1986, Spider releases Raise the Banner. June 5th, 1997, Unleashed releases Warrior. June 5th, 2001, Hades releases Damnation. And last but certainly not least for right now, June 5th, 2012, Fear Factory releases The Industrialist. So that is the last 2 weeks in metal history for May 22nd all the way up through June 5th of 2012. And there will probably, as always, be some holdovers after the show today. I will lead off next week's show with those. And before I move on, I want to say one thing about Saint Anger. I hope at one point, whenever they get to, whatever 10th anniversary, 20th anniversary, 30th anniversary, or whatever, part of me hopes that they will remaster that album and re-release it the way everybody thought it should be. Right. I don't see that happening because Metallica's been quoted as saying, "Hey, we recorded it the way we wanted to record it," and so I mean, the way it sounds is the way we wanted it to sound. So I don't see it just like "And Justice for All" with the lack of bass. I don't see them remastering Saint Anger to where it actually sounds quote unquote right. I wish they would, because there are some songs on there, like the title track and Frantic. There were some songs on there that were decent songs. It's just nobody liked the way the audio mix came out. So I mean, part of me hopes that they would remaster it and quote unquote fix it, but I don't see it happening.
So just think if Cliff Burton did not die, what And Justice for All would have sounded like.
Oh, there's no fucking way in hell he would have let Lars turn his bass down. There's no goddamn way. There is no way that would have happened.
Oh, and by the way, I looked up Nashville Municipal Auditorium has been around since '62.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Wow.
No. Yeah, it's
good
sad
for that. Good for that building.
It was sad that I looked up. They only had the 2 concerts lined up this year so far, and that was the Megadeth show and then Deftones in September, which were both canceled. So that lets you know. So that lets us know, like, because I was kind of curious about why they did the Megadeth show, because I really wasn't with everything opening. Smaller venues were opening. But I think they just couldn't do what they needed to do safety precaution wise on a big venue. So,
yeah.
But I mean, you see what they're doing now with the hockey games and stuff. You're just like, wow, why don't you just go ahead and have shows now? It just don't make sense. But it is what it is. So,
well, I wonder if it's because I mean, obviously the rest of the tour is it seems to be going off. The tour is actually stopping at the Blue Ridge Festival now. I wonder if it's a Tennessee thing. I really do.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. I mean, especially when you look and see the Deftones also got canceled from the same venue. So obviously, the mayor or whoever is involved wouldn't let them put on anything because they can't be. I'm not trying to say they can't be compliant with what they want to do. So
yeah, well
which is sad, but
that sucks.
Yeah, it does. And then again, it could be a thing where, we're just trying to get rid of you so we can get more into the arena or to the Ascend Amphitheater. So,
well, hell, I mean, I guarantee you, Municipal Auditorium holds more people than Ascend Amphitheater. I've been to the Ascend Amphitheater. There's no way there was no way that Megadeth. There's no way Megadeth would play that little ass amphitheater.
Yeah.
Nor should they. They shouldn't play a small venue like that.
Yeah, I remember back. I know Municipal used to hold as many as Starwood did, because I remember, the crowds were just as big there. So I don't remember if it's like 10, 12,000, something like that. I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the capacity is, but yeah, there's no way in hell that Megadeth would play that little ass amphitheater downtown. There's no way.
All right, so let's see. I have some history news stories here. Let's see. May 23rd, 1982, the UK Musicians Union moved a resolution to ban synthesizers and drum rhythm machines from sessions and live concerts, fearing that their use would put musicians out of work. Yeah, but here we are 40 years later.
Right, yeah.
and the musicians are doing just fine. So,
Yeah.
May 23rd, 2006, the King of Sweden presented the surviving members of Led Zeppelin with the Polar Music Prize in Stockholm, recognizing them as great pioneers of rock music. Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, and John Paul Jones were joined by the daughter of drummer John Bonham, who died in 1980. The Polar Music Prize was founded in 1989 by Stig Anderson, manager of Swedish pop group ABBA, and who named it after his record label, Polar Records. So, May 23rd, 2012, Erasmus MC University Medical Center in the Netherlands announced that they had drawn clear links between listening to loud music, smoking marijuana, and having risky sex. The study, published in the official Journal of the American Academy of Pediatrics, revealed that young people who listened to loud music on their MP3 players were more likely to have sparked up a joint in the last month. The researchers surveyed 944 students from inner city vocational schools aged 15 to 25. The 2000s. Those were the days, right? Oh, my God. It's just like some of that stuff is just stupid. It's just like, country music people smoke dope too, and have sex. I mean, it's not like it's just a.
Yeah. Has anybody ever heard of fucking Willie Nelson, for Christ's sake? And, like George Jones, he was a fucking alcoholic. So
I mean, rappers do it. I mean, so I mean, it's all. I mean, they didn't like necessarily say metal, but they say loud music. That's usually what they're talking about. So, they just did not want to call us out like that, but we know what they mean. May 24th, 2010, you touched on this a little bit, but Paul Gray, the bassist with the U.S. metal band Slipknot, was found dead in a hotel in Des Moines, Iowa. The body of the 38-year-old musician was found by an employee at the hotel in a suburb of the city. Police said foul play was not suspected, but an autopsy would be carried out. The 9 members of Slipknot wore masks in public and referred to other bandmates by numbers. Gray was number 2. Sad day in history there.
Yep.
May 26, 2002, the first episode of At Home with the Osbournes was shown on MTV in the UK. Already becoming a hit in the US, the show focused on the madman and his family, wife Sharon, and 2 of their 3 children. Oblivious to the camera, they bicker, squabble, curse, and hang out backstage at Aussie shows.
No, I don't think they were quite that oblivious to the cameras.
I don't think so either. Sharon, the dog shit in the living room again.
Yeah.
May 26, 2017, Chris Cornell was laid to rest at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles next to Johnny Ramone. Mourners at the funeral service include Dave Navarro, Tom Morello, Lars Ulrich, James Hetfield, Courtney Love, and his Soundgarden bandmates Matt Cameron and Kim Thayil. Cornell, I'm still going to say, supposedly hanged himself on May 18, 2017. May 27, 2007, Saatchi and Saatchi were fired by Dr. Martens for running an advertising campaign featuring dead rock stars such as Kurt Cobain and Sid Vicious wearing the brand's boots in heaven. David Suddens, the chief executive of Dr. Martens' parent company Airwear, said the brand had not commissioned the series of 4 print ads. Dr. Martens are very sorry for any offense that has been caused by the publication of images showing dead rock icons wearing Dr. Marten boots. I don't know who thought that was a great idea, but
yeah, I can imagine how that pitch meeting would have gone.
Yeah.
Stay with me here.
What if Kurt
don't say no outright.
In heaven?
Yeah, don't say no right away. Just let it kind of marinate in your brain a little bit.
Yeah. Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Anyway, May 27, 2010, dozens of AC/DC fans needed treatment after complaining of burning eyes during a concert on the runways of Wells Airport in Wales, Australia. Around 150 fans had to be treated. Doctors found that these fans showed allergic reactions to bark mulch that was spread at the venue, the runway of Wells Airport, to avoid the soil getting too muddy after the hours of a massive rainfall. So, wow, that's kind of crazy. You go to an AC/DC show to get your ears bleeding, not your eyes burning.
Right. Yeah.
May 28,
Yeah.
1983, Rapid Fire appeared at Gazzari's on the Sunset Strip in Los Angeles. Rapid Fire featured singer at the time Axl Rose, who was seen for the first time by guitarist Slash, who was in the audience. So there was
nice.
probably your making of Guns N' Roses.
Nice.
May 28th, 2019, Motorhead's Ace of Spades was named greatest gambling song of all time, along with Lady Gaga's Poker Face, which we don't consider even in the running, but whatever. Online poker giant PokerStars asked 1,000 of its European customers to select their favorite poker-themed song from a list of choices, and Motorhead's Ace of Spades topped that list. May 29, 1999, skeletal remains were found by photographers looking for old car wrecks to shoot at the bottom of the Decker Canyon near Malibu, California. Based on forensic evidence, the remains were Philip Kramer, former bassist with the rock group Iron Butterfly, who had disappeared on his way home from work on February 12, 1995. His death was ruled as a probable suicide. Yeah, that just blew my mind when I was reading it. I said, that's crazy.
That is crazy. That's literally the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, like 4 years later, they found it, you know. So May 30th, 2009, Ozzy Osbourne was suing the band's guitarist Tony Iommi over royalty payments. The 60-year-old had accused Iommi of falsely claiming to have sole rights to the band's name, which has cost him royalties from merchandise sales. Osbourne was seeking unspecified damages, lost profits, and a declaration he is a half owner of the trademark. Iommi claims Osbourne legally relinquished rights to the band's name in the 1980s. Osbourne said he believed all 4 original members of the band should share Black Sabbath's name equally. I could agree with that.
Yeah.
And you are supposed to be the pioneers of metal, so there you go.
Yeah.
June 1st, 1981, the very first issue of heavy metal magazine Kerrang! Was published as a special pull-out by UK weekly music paper Sounds. AC/DC had the front cover plus features on Motorhead, Girl School, and Saxon. So June 1st, 81 was the first issue of Kerrang! That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Well, some more news about Paul Gray, but just not as sad, but June 1st, 2003, Slipknot bassist Paul Gray was arrested on drugs and driving charges after he collided with a car after going through a red light in his hometown of Des Moines, Iowa. Gray, who wears a pig mask on the stage, then tried to write a check for $1,000 to the driver, who then called the police. Gray failed 2 alcohol tests at the scene and was arrested for possession of marijuana, cocaine, and drug paraphernalia, as well as drinking and driving. So June 2nd, 2000, wow, I can't even get this out. June 2nd, 1978. Thin Lizzy released the live double album, Live and Dangerous. It was recorded in Philadelphia, London, and Toronto in 77 during the tours accompanying the albums Johnny the Fox and Bad Reputation. It peaked at number 2 on the UK album charts, held from the top spot by the Grease soundtrack. It remained in the charts, check this out, 62 weeks, and eventually sold 600,000 copies in 1978.
Wow, nice.
That is unreal.
Yeah.
June 4th, 1942, Glenn Wallix launched Capitol Records in the U.S. Label has become home to such artists as Adelita's Way, Beastie Boys, Megadeth, Foo Fighters, Iron Maiden, Alcatraz, Alice in Chains, Alter Bridge, Billy Squier, Kendall Mass, Exodus, Great White, Helix, and Heart, among countless of others. Wallix was the man who invented the art of record promotion by sending copies of new releases to disc jockeys. So, man, big player in the game, man.
Shit, fucking pioneer.
Yeah. June 4th, 2020, Steve Priest, the bassist and co-founder of glam rock band Sweet, died at the age of 72. He was known for his playful humor and outrageous costumes when Sweet played hits like Blockbuster, Teenage Rampage, and Little Willie on top of the Pops. The group was originally called Sweet Shop. I did not know that.
I didn't either.
Sorry, I got a message. Never mind, not important. So, June 5th, 1977. This is going to be interesting to you. I had to reread this. Alice Cooper's boa constrictor and co-star of his live act suffered a fatal bite from a rat it was being fed for breakfast. So Cooper decided to hold auditions for a replacement and a snake named Angel got the gig. So you hold auditions to replace a snake.
Hmm. That
Oh,
actually is interesting.
yeah, I thought, man, that's some crazy
Huh.
shit
Oh,
there.
damn.
June 5th, 2008, Ozzy Osbourne accepted undisclosed libel damages in an apology over a UK newspaper claimed that he was ill at the Brit Awards. The 59-year-old rocker sued over a story in the Daily Star that alleged he had toppled over twice just before the televised ceremony and that he was moved around the awards in an electric buggy, which was not true. So there you go.
Yeah.
So that's all I had in the history pile there. So you want to move on?
That was actually pretty damn comprehensive.
Yeah. So we want to move on to. We decided to do a little special thing. We had one already planned out for last week. We didn't do, which was power ballots. And then we decided, since it was Memorial Day that we missed, we were going to wind up doing. We wanted to do something for that, so we're going to do military-related metal songs as well. So we're going to do both of those. So if you want to kick off the power ballots,
I will do that. Yes, absolutely. All right. This one was pretty easy for me. I could kind of like you with one of the lists a couple weeks ago. I could have done 15 or 20 of these, but I did limit it to 10. And as usual, with these, they're in no particular order. It's not necessarily a top 10. It's just 10 of our favorites. But having said that, I will lead off with my favorite, and this is actually hands down my favorite song of all time. And Jason, you'll already know what this is before I even say it. Yeah, it is. It is. It's hands down my favorite song with no hesitation of all time, "The Unforgiven" by Metallica. From the Black Album in 1991. My next one is also off of that album. It's "Nothing Else Matters." That's actually my wife and that's our song. "Nothing Else Matters." Next, I have "Mama, I'm Coming Home" by Ozzy Osbourne off of "No More Tears" from 1991. Next, I have "Home Sweet Home" by Motley Crue from 1985's "Theater of Pain." Next, I have "Snuff" from Slipknot off of "All Hope Is Gone" from 2008. My next one is "Born with a Broken Heart" from Primal Fear off of "Delivering the Black" from 2014. And then my next one is "I Remember You" from Skid Row off of their self-titled album from 1989. My next one is "I'll Never Let You Go" by Steelheart off of their self-titled album from 1990. Dude, that song, I mean, you asked if I went back on this list, and obviously I did, but man, dude, every time I hear that song, I am still fucking blown away by the voice that dude used to have. And I say used to because if you look up any like half-ass recent Steelheart concerts, he can still hit the note. Right. But he can't hold it. He can't hold it anymore. And I'm not saying that to talk shit, but I mean to even be able to have that talent at all at some point is just, it still blows my mind to hear that song. So that one's on my list. The next one I have is "Still Loving You" by the Scorpions from "Love at First Sting" from 1984, and then last and absolutely certainly not least is "Cemetery Gates" by Pantera off of "Cowboys from Hell" from 1990. So like I say, I could have kept going, but those were the 10 that I narrowed it down to for the power ballad, for my 10 favorite power ballads.
So I didn't go back as far as what we would call hair metal days, which I mean you could pick 50 songs out of that era, I think.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean easily, because I mean I could think of 3 off the top of my head that Warrant did that I loved.
Oh yeah,
Poison did a lot. Wingers, "Headed for a Heartbreak" was a great one. I could go back in that time era and do, oh man, all sorts of. But I kind of wanted to do some kind of. I don't want to say obscure, but I want to say like you wouldn't. So they're almost borderline power ballad songs. I would say maybe.
Well, that's fine.
So yeah. I'll go with what I considered a power ballad song. Not really, you almost consider a power ballad like a love song in a way too. But I don't I just almost always said a power ballad was more of something out of the band's forte. I guess it was, like a
Yeah.
lot slower tempo and
See, that for me was always kind of the definition of a power ballad. It doesn't necessarily, I mean, especially in the hair metal era, power ballads were mostly, the love songs,
right.
But it doesn't necessarily, for me, that doesn't necessarily have to be a love song. For me, it's more about the overall tempo of the song. So that's what it was for me. So
yeah, so I had this list was, I had Metallica, Fade to Black.
Mm-hmm.
I had Kill Switch Engage, End of a Heartache, or the End of Heartache. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I had Megadeth, A Tout Le Monde, Anthrax's Black Lodge, Testament, Return to Serenity, Godsmack, Under Your Scars.
It's a great song.
Yes, Pantera, Cemetery Gates, Mudvayne, World So Cold, Slipknot, Snuff, Avenged Sevenfold, So Far Away. And I had an extra one on there. I didn't realize I can't count. But, I remember everything. So that was kind of my definition of power ballads, I guess.
Oh yeah. It doesn't. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah. Like I said, man, I would we probably should just do an '80s one and just list like about 20 probably just to get a good feeling.
Well, I mean, we can do that down the road. We can just confine it. We can confine it to that one decade, and I mean, we could probably literally devote like an entire half hour to just power ballads from that decade.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's insane.
I'll go right into the military related.
All right, songs. Go right ahead. Yeah, that's cool.
I got Non-Points, Frontlines, Five Finger Death Punch, Battleborn, Iron Maiden's Aces High, Metallica's One, Drowning Pool Soldiers, Disturbed, Indestructible, Guns N' Roses Civil War, Megadeth's Holy Wars, The Punishment Due, Slayer's War Ensemble, and Breaking Benjamin's Unknown Soldier. That was my 10 for that. So.
Okay. Yeah. When we were talking about this last night while we were sitting around the fire, I mean, I kind of half-assed made a joke about how my top 10 military theme songs, I could have made it a straight Sabaton list.
Right.
And the funny thing that almost they're on the list more than once. But here's mine. Leading off with Camouflage by Sabaton. It was off of 2016's The Last Stand. It was the bonus track off of that one. Then I have The Trooper by Iron Maiden off of Peace of Mind from 1983.
Yes.
I have one by Metallica off of And Justice for All from 1988. I have Uprising by Sabaton off of Coat of Arms from 2010. I've got Holy Wars, The Punishment Due by Megadeth off of Rust in Peace in 1990. I have Disposable Heroes by Metallica off of Master of Puppets from 1986. I have Aces High from Iron Maiden off of Power Slave from 1984. I have The Price of a Mile by Sabaton off of The Art of War from 2008. I've got War Pigs by Black Sabbath off of Paranoid from 1970. And I also had War Ensemble by Slayer off of Seasons in the Abyss in 1990. Like I said, I could have probably put 10 Sabaton songs off here. For anybody out there listening or watching who doesn't know about Sabaton, Sabaton strictly sings about war, whether it's certain wars or just war in general. They sing about the military. The song Camouflage is about a soldier getting lost in the woods during the Vietnam War in 1995. The song Uprising is about the Nazi invasion of Warsaw, Poland in 1939, and how eventually the people of Poland said, "Fuck you, we're not taking this shit anymore." So they decided to fight back before the Americans and the Russians got there. And then the song "Price of a Mile" just is a general song talking about how many people and how much blood needs to be spilt. What's the price of a mile? To move another mile in along the front lines. So that song is more about war in general than anything specific. But I mean, there's it's very educational. It really is, because there's a lot of stuff that I've actually learned about listening to some of their stuff. So I mean, the music is very good, but for anybody who doesn't know what Sabaton's about, that's what they're about. They're about war in general. They're a band out of Sweden. Hell, they've even got a song called "A Lifetime of War." So I mean,
did you notice anything odd about my list at all?
Odd about your list?
Yeah, like maybe something missing.
Something missing. Oh shit! It's probably going to jump out at me as soon as you say it. But
no Warbringer. I had no Warbringer.
Oh God, no Warbringer.
How the hell did I do that?
That's a good point.
Oh.
Yeah. All right.
Right. So I guess we can jump in.
I didn't even think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't either. Actually, when I was making a list, and then I was just reading it, and I'm like, how the hell did I not put like Warbringer? Like them, like every one of their songs could be military related. So
yeah, that's true.
But yes, I guess we can move on to album reviews. I know we got to have 2 weeks worth of that in here. So
yeah, but I think we've got what is it? We've got 16 minutes left.
Yeah,
I think we can fit this in.
Oh yeah, we go through that and reel out the stuff coming out next week. So
yeah. All right, so go right ahead. Lead us off.
All right, so from the last week's, I did 2 from last week and 2 from this week. So last week's I did Burning Witches, The Witch of the North. 14 tracks, 1 hour, 1 minute long. So that's pretty lengthy for 14 tracks. But
yeah, it is. Jeez.
So if you don't know about Burning Witches, they are an all-female power metal band from Brugg, Argo, with Switzerland. They were formed in 2015. They consist of Janine Grob on bass, Lala Frischnecht on drums, Romana Kakul on guitar, Laura Godemond on vocals, and then Larissa Ernst on guitars. This is actually their 4th full-length album. Laura Godemond definitely has some unbelievable range. I don't know if you've checked any of their stuff out, but man, she's got some good pipes there.
Yeah, I downloaded it last night. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet.
Got some crunchy riffs and some powerful drumming. I mean, everything you would kind of expect from a power metal band. They also did a decent cover of Sabotage's "Hall of the Mountain King." No shit. Okay. Yeah, so let's face it. John Olivia is definitely a hard vocalist to cover. But yeah, overall, I probably give this one like 3.5 horns. Wasn't too bad. I just think it's awesome that we always talk about female fronted bands. This is an all female power metal band. That's just cool to me.
That is cool. Yeah. Because there's been plenty of female lead singers, but you don't see too many complete female ensembles too often, but it's good to see that.
Yeah. We had some back in the 80s, we had like the Bangles and
Vixen, Girl School.
Yeah. So we had some bands, but you just don't see it that often anymore, of all women.
And Kitty, Kitty was around for a little while, but yeah. They were around for a little while.
And I'm not sure, is that new band that we talked about a while back, Plush, are they all women? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go. So we got some people, we got some out there getting some recognition. That's great.
It is great.
Yeah. All right. So on my second one, I did Alluvial Sarcoma, 10 tracks, 38 minutes, 24 seconds. If you don't know much about Alluvial, they're a death metal band formed in Portland, Oregon in 2016, but later relocated to Atlanta, Georgia. Members are Tim Walker on bass, Matthew Palazzo on drums, Kevin Muller on vocals, and Wes Hotch on guitars. This is their 2nd full-length release. I'm not a huge fan of death metal, as we know, so this album didn't really do a lot for me. It did stand out from other death metal bands that I've heard because the vocals weren't as the deep gutturals as most death metal bands are. So there was some sparks there that I was like, oh, okay, maybe we're onto something. But I still just went halfway with it and gave it 2.5 horns. Any death metal fans, you're welcome to check that one out. Y'all probably enjoyed it a little more than I did, but
yeah, we do. We do try to give death metal a try, but It's kind of difficult for us. We're not. It's just not really our go-to, like we've said
Right.
before. But
Yeah.
hey, to each their own.
Right.
Everyone's welcome here. Everyone's welcome. Absolutely. Okay,
So
let's see.
you want to do last week's and then move into this week's, or?
Well, yeah, I mean the one I tried to do last week. I tried to listen to "Lustful Sacraments" by Perturbator, which I actually made it all the way through, but I didn't rate it because I don't know how the hell it even made it on the list. Because like I was telling you last night, it's almost like if house or techno music tried to be heavy, but completely, I mean, failed horrifically. There were almost no vocals there. It was all electronic music. It was all basically, like I say, if techno was trying to go dark.
Right.
So I'm not gonna rate it because as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't belong here. How the hell it got there is beyond me. Thankfully, I did manage to find another album to do by the band Bloodbound, a band that was new to me. I'd never heard of them before until this, but I pulled them off of the new release list and checked out their new album. Their new album is called Creatures of the Dark Realm. They were formed in 2004 in Bollnäs, Sweden. They are a power metal band that have lyrical themes that include fantasy, agony, purgatory, and just overall dark themes. Creatures of the Dark Realm is their 9th studio album.
Oh, wow.
Their debut album Nosferatu came out in 2005. Book of the Dead came out in 2007. Tabula Rasa came out in 2009, Unholy Cross in 2011, In the Name of Metal in 2012, Stormborn in 2014, War of Dragons in 2017, Rise of the Dragon Empire in 2019, leading up to Creatures of the Dark Realm that came out May 28th. Current members, you've got Frederick Berg on bass, keyboard, backup vocals. You've got Thomas Olsen on guitars. You've got Henrik Olsen on rhythm guitar. You've got Patrick J. Celebi on vocals, Anders Broman on bass, and Daniel Sjogren on drums. Creatures of the Dark Realm is officially a 12-track album. It's technically 12 tracks, but you've got an instrumental that's 34 seconds as an intro, so we don't like to count those. So overall it's 12 official tracks at 45 minutes and 15 seconds. I really liked this album. Being a power metal and thrash metal guy, this is another one of those bands coming out of Sweden. There's a lot of Sabaton and Primal Fear and Hammerfall sounds in there. Whether they're direct influencers or not, I don't know. But there were shades of those other 3 bands in there, musically, not lyrically, because Patrick J. Celebi, his vocal range isn't quite the range of Ralph Sheepers from Primal Fear, and he also his voice isn't anywhere near as deep as the lead singer of Sabaton. But musically, there were shades of those other 3 bands in there, which I'm a huge fan of those other 3 bands. So if there are any influences that carry over to this new band, I'm all for it. So I give this album probably 4 horns. I'd say 4 horns out of 5.
Nice.
This is definitely going to be a keeper and one that I'll listen to again, and I'm probably going to dig into a lot more of their back catalog because of it. And then moving on to this past week, I reviewed Blood in the Water, the new album by Flotsam and Jetsam. Flotsam and Jetsam, they've been around for a minute, and I'm ashamed to say that I never really listened to a whole lot of their music before, and I'm kind of kicking myself for that. I did listen to a couple of the singles that came out ahead of this new album, which is actually their 15th studio album.
Wow.
Yeah, so they've been around for a while. They were formed in 1984 in Phoenix, Arizona. They are a power slash thrash metal band. They have all sorts of different lyrical themes: insanity, dreams, drugs, life, death, humor, social slash political issues. So their music kind of runs the gamut. Doomsday for the Deceiver was their debut album in 1986. No Place for Disgrace came out in 1988. When the Storm Comes Down in 1990. Quattro in 1992. Drift in 95. High in 97. Unnatural Selection in 99. My God in 2001. Dreams of Death in 05. The Cold in 2010. Ugly Noise in 2012. No Place for Disgrace in 2014. Flotsam and No Place for Disgrace was kind of like a follow-up to the first one, so it was No Place for Disgrace 2014, which came out in 2014 obviously. A self-titled album in 2016, The End of Chaos in 2019, and Blood in the Water yesterday. The current lineup, we've got Michael Gilbert on guitars, Eric A.K. on vocals, Steve Conley on guitars, Ken Mary on drums, and Bill Bodley on bass. Blood in the Water, the new album, is 12 tracks altogether, 53 minutes and 29 seconds. A good solid album. Like I said, I'm kind of kicking myself for not listening to more of Flotsam and Jetsam stuff in the past, but I'm definitely going to do so now. The only thing that's going to keep me from giving this, I'm going to give this one 3.5 horns out of 5 instead of 4. The only reason why I'm not going to give this a full 4 stars is even though they're a power and thrash metal band, I was hoping for a little bit more up tempo overall on this album. That being said, I liked the album from start to finish. I just wished it would have been a little more up tempo, but I mean, that may sound a little nitpicky, but and it may be, but still, it's a good album from start to finish. Definitely going to be a keeper for me. Probably definitely going to lead into listening to some of their older stuff that, like I said earlier, shame to say that I hadn't really listened to before, but it's like we say on this show, we don't have enough time to listen to everything. And for some reason, Flotsam and Jetsam was just one of those bands that for whatever reason, I just never really got into until now. So I will definitely do a little bit more homework on them, and I'll spend some time listening to some of their older stuff because I did like what I heard on Blood in the Water. So, so aside from that fish out of water techno album that shouldn't have been on the list, I had two solid albums that I liked. So not too bad. I'm not going to complain too much.
All right, I did 2 this week. I did Red Fang Arrows, 13 tracks, 43 minutes, 11 seconds. Red Fang is a rock band formed in 2005 from Portland, Oregon. Another Portland, Oregon band. Imagine that.
Yeah, that's kind of ironic.
Remember, they don't only tear up shit. They actually play music there.
Yeah, they're not all in Antifa up there.
Members are Brian Giles on guitar and vocals, Aaron Bean, bassist and vocals, David Sullivan on guitar, and John Sherman on drums. This is actually their 5th studio release. The only best description I can do of this is imagine if Rob Zombie sang for the Doors.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So it's kind of what it sounded like. It was, musically, it was like really weird and dark. So just eerie, kind of like, I don't know. It was just strange to me. Just didn't mesh well for me. So I only gave that one a 2 horn. Just not real impressive with that. So and the next one I did was the new Atreyu album, Baptized, 15 tracks, 41 minutes, 16 seconds. If you don't know about Atreyu, they're a metalcore band from Yorba Linda, California. They were formed in 1998. The current members are Brandon Saller from he's the vocalist. Actually, he does the clean vocals. Dan Jacobs on guitar, Travis Miguel on guitar, Mark McKnight's the bassist, and he does the gutturals, and Kyle Rosa on drums. This is their 8th full-length release. I followed Atreyu here and there over the years. House of Gold, it's one of the songs that I kind of dig. It did sound a little different without Alex Varkatzas on the mic, but overall it wasn't too bad. those of you that don't follow OTRU, Alex was the former singer. He left in I think September, October of last year. So this one without him on the mic was a little different, but like I said, not too bad. I'll give it probably like 3.5 horns on the new Atreyu. So if you're a Atreyu fan, I think you'll definitely enjoy it. So go check it out.
Yeah, I may have to check that one out too. I may have to check that one out.
All right. So what we got to look forward to next week?
Yes, June 11th, 2021. These are the upcoming new releases for next Friday. Leading off with AFI, we have Bodies. We have Anal Nakreth, I think. I don't know. The Codex Necro, which is a re-release for them. We have a re-release from Behemoth. We have Evangelion. That's a vinyl re-release for them. Black Sabbath and Sabotage. Obviously, that's a re-release for them. We have Blitzkrieg with Theater of the Damned. That's a re-release for them. We have Brother Against Brother with a self-titled album. We have Crypta with Echoes of the Soul. We have Def Leppard Volume 3. That's a box set. Oh boy, this next one. We have Dorn. This one's German, so give me a second. This is Dornenreich with Du Wild Lieb Sei. That's the only stab I'm going to take at that one. We have Evil with Evil's Message. That's a re-release for them. We have Garbage with No Gods, No Masters. We have Go Ahead and Die with a self-titled album. We have Gorgon with Traditio Satanae, I guess. We have Green Jelly with Garbage Band Kids. We have Hammer King with a self-titled album. We have Incantation with Decimate Christendom. That's a re-release for them. We have Incantation with Primordial Domination. That's a re-release. We have Josiah with Out of the Rays, which is a re-release. We have K-Flay with Inside Voices with an EP. We have Kiss with Off the Soundboard, Tokyo 2001. We have Clone with Live. I don't know if that's a live album or if it's just called Live. I don't know. We have Mammoth WVH with a self-titled album. We have Mr. Bungle with The Night They Came Home, which is a DVD CD combo. We have One Desire, One Night Only, which is One Night Only live in Helsinki with it, which is a DVD CD combo. We have Terra Odium with Nay Plus Ultra. We have the Vincent Crowley Band with Beyond Art Acheron. We have Witchcross with Angel of Death. And we have Wrist Meets Razor with Replica of a Strange Love. So there's quite a few releases coming out this coming Friday, but a lot of them are live albums and a lot of them are re-releases. So we actually may have kind of a slim list to pick from, Jason. So we may have to kind of choose wisely here.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah. But as always, card is subject to change. So as they like to say in wrestling, right, Jason?
Yeah. Right. I used to make that joke all the time. They said, "Hey, are you on the card?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm always on the card. I'm the one at the bottom that says card subject to change. That's my name."
Nice.
Awesome. So I just want to reach out and thank everyone for joining us on this long journey today. So I actually surprised I made it through 3 hours without having to pee, but
yeah, especially since I saw you drinking that you had that drink you were drinking on every so often. I saw you take a hit off of it.
Yeah, I had water here too, so it's kind of like I was hitting it from both sides. So I'm surprised
there you go.
I didn't have to go.
All right. But yeah, it's good to see that we were able to recap the last 2 weeks and we were able to cram everything into 3 hours.
Yeah.
We're currently at 3 hours and 1 minute. So, we managed to make it. And,
a little over. So that's
yeah,
okay.
just a touch, but hell, we had permission to go 4 hours if we would have wanted to. So
yeah, I just wanted to reach out and appreciate VOP, the platform we use, for letting us do the 3 hours. Kind of asked that when we decided we were going. Chris was going out of town, and I didn't really want to do this alone because this is this is kind of our baby. So
right,
I want us both to be involved.
Yeah.
So I just want to appreciate them for working with us and letting us do the 3 hours so we could get all the content in to keep everybody up to date. And that was the main thing. We want to keep you guys as much up to date as possible. So yeah, so just want to thank you guys for getting on here and even if you were on here for an hour or two, we still appreciate you guys jumping on and giving us a little bit of love. We'd give it back to you if we could. So
Yeah.
and actually we may be doing some stuff here pretty soon. We'll keep you guys informed. I think we're going to look at getting some Metalhead Unite merchandise made. We'll keep you guys posted on that. So I was actually talking to someone yesterday about that. So we got some good stuff coming up. We're gonna send some love back to you guys. So
yes, we are. And yeah, we appreciate everybody coming by. Like Jason said, even if you popped in for a little bit and couldn't stay the whole time, we certainly don't blame anybody for not having a full 3 hours or even the normal 2 hours to just sit around and hang out. But thankfully, if you're listening on your phone, maybe you can have your earbuds in and kind of listen to us ramble on. So
right.
Thank everybody for coming by, and especially watch on demand. Check us out after the fact. I mean, just because you couldn't listen to us live doesn't mean you can't listen to us at all. Hell, you can even listen to us in small bits if you want to so listen to us at your own pace. Yeah.
Then I think we're doing new stuff with like Roku and Fire and all that good stuff now. So
yeah. So we are definitely around. But yeah, thanks everybody for letting us get caught up on the last 2 weeks, considering I did decide to go on vacation, kind of disappear for a little while. Check us out over at the Metalheads Unite Facebook page. If you want to join us over there, send us a request. We'll get you guys approved. But as always, thanks everybody for coming by. We appreciate it. We're still having a blast doing this. It gets more and more fun for me every week, as far as I'm concerned. I hope to see everybody back here again next week.
Hey, and if you see us out at any of the shows, pull us aside and say, "Hey, we watch your show."
Yeah.
So any of the live events, that is.
Absolutely. Which we hope to be we hope to be coming to some of those here relatively soon. Like Jason said, there's going to be a convention in Nashville in August. We're going to try our damnedest to be there at that. So if you're in the Nashville area and want to come by and say hi, we'll be happy to shake hands and sign autographs and all that good shit. If anybody gives a shit about our autograph,
you ain't gonna want to wash that baby's forehead. So. All right. With that being said, we thank you guys. Until don't forget, we're back next week at our regular time, 11 Eastern, 10 Central. So we should hopefully stay caught up with everything from here on out until I decide to take a vacation, I guess. So.
Yeah. And just before we go, real quick, just so everyone knows, the theme of the next week's top 10 is going to be. I almost forgot, but we're going to have our top 10 pandemic related heavy metal songs. So that's going to be next week's theme.
Yeah. All right. So that being said, we want y'all have a safe and wonderful week, and keep those horns held high and jump in that pit anytime you can. Until next week.
Absolutely.
We'll see you guys. Be safe.
Thank you guys. Have a great week.